How are you? How you been? Just gonna wait for some people to come on in. Getting used to this StreamYard that everyone uses. Trying this out for once. So how is everyone? I hope they're all well. I was on the early one, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, I was having issues last night. When I created that one at early in the morning. I could see it looks clear and sounds clear, bro. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I mean, I tried starting that with this earlier in the morning, but unfortunately, it wasn't working properly. I was having issues with the camera and stuff like that. So, well, at least it's working now. I like this software better. Can just click it and emphasize. So what's this do? Close tip. If you can share this for me, it'd be greatly appreciated because I'm not sure. I just have the one app open through the website. Da, 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 da. Could have sworn it showed me how many people were in here. Oh, okay, that's how that banner works. Summer is a hard time to do videos and streams. I'll be right back and go share, bro. All right, I appreciate that, Aquarium Cop. Truly do. I know I haven't streamed forever in a day. I think it's. Let me see what the settings are. I think it's only 720. Nope. Let me bump that to 720p. Make it a little clearer. Let me know if it's lagging at all. I'm not watching this on the background. I am doing this through Wi-Fi, but I'm actually using a router to connect through Wi-Fi. So hopefully it won't stutter. And of course, it's showing 2 live now. Why is that? Don't mind me, I'm just opening up the other one. Mute that. So there we go. Now we'll be able to help share it. Let me save this as a certain thing. Let's see. Favorites. Sorry, I'm not talking that much. Give a quick shout out to Aquarium Cup. Thank you for sharing. Let me share this because I can't share the stream from in here. At least I haven't figured it out yet. So let's go to Twitter. Log in and tweet for captainsavageaquatics. Let's try Twitter again. Tweet. Well, let me do this. Melvin Tucker Chevy. Hey. Got too many things open. So let's go to Facebook. One watching, 5 minutes in. So let's log in. Well, I'm always changing passwords, and I forget that not all my software's up on my computer. Update it with the new passwords. Did I not type it right? So, hey. That's all my phone does is say hey. Picture group name A. Let's see. Let's try B. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to share this to groups I'm part of where I won't get in trouble. Hey. Okay, back to the stream. Sorry about that. Doing. Really should have shared this before coming in here, but that's all right. Post to Facebook. I just wish there was a way you could click on a bunch of groups and do it all at once. All right, so we got 3 people in here. If you're in here, let me know. I don't know how to see the chat. So comments. So if you're here, welcome. Just a couple little things before we start. Let's see. If anyone was on Instagram, I did post like a quick short clip of my 75-gallon yesterday. I've had some recent changes to that. I do have a video coming out on that, so I guess I can let you know a little bit. Some new plants, and some changes, a little bit of aquascaping stuff and stuff like that. So keep a lookout for that. Again, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Brian from captainsavageaquatics. Been in the fish keeping hobby for, I want to say, going roughly on 12 years, just 10 to 12. I can't remember. I'm bad with dates and all that anyway. So just a little info about me. I assume aquariumcoop's the only one still in here. Now it's reading 0. So let me pull up the page and I'll watch it on YouTube. Sorry about that. Accidentally clicked off. So let's see. Go to live, make sure this one's muted. It says 0 are watching, but that's okay. No biggie to me. It's earlier in the day. Honestly, this is more of the test stream to make sure this software works. Click live, click settings. Sorry for blowing in the mic. So let's see. Settings, make sure this is playing at 720p. There we go. I wonder if I wish I could move that little thing down below. Solo layout. There we go. So what's going on with you, Aquarium Cop, if you're still here? Let me see who's in here. Participants, this says captainsavageaquatics. For participants, so if you chat, I'll see it. Like if you type something. Of course, it'll show up over here. Let this take a minute. Really? Toggle the timestamps. It takes a minute to propagate over to there. So let's see. Let me just do the Popo chat from here. Popo chat. And then I can minimize that, maximize that. That way I can just have the chats open. All right, new things going on. I have videos of this tank right here, the 25 bow front or 20 bow front. Got a bunch of shrimp in there, some fancy guppies. Got blue velvets in there. I got some cherry red shrimp. I know they shouldn't really be mixed. I got some what look like natural ones that this look kind of brownish red. I'm just happy to have shrimp in there. I'm planning on moving the guppies out of that tank and moving them into the 10-gallon, these other 10 gallons over here. This 10-gallon, I got to clear out some of the guppy grass because it's starting to clog the light out, and I can't really see the light penetrating to the bottom. So yeah, I mean, that's just some basic stuff going on. Let me close that and bring that other one back up. There we go. So if you're here, please say something. If you're not, no big deal. I'm going to check participants. It's just still showing only me. What else have I been doing? Sorry, I got to get back in the swing of things. I didn't really have a plan. I was just more or less testing this software. So, yeah. Just kind of winging it right now. I can't remember if I told you guys. I'm pretty sure I did on the last live stream. I took some Christmas moss and Java moss, and I put it in the 55-gallon here. African cichlid tank. They seem to enjoy it. I do have a hang-on back on that besides the sponge filters now, just because I wanted a little bit more aeration towards the top, more directed. Let's see. Don't mind these. I love Omega 1 products, and that's what I got. I got regular cichlid flakes. That's more for veggie eating or herbivores. Then you got the high endurance stuff or high test stuff. Then I picked up some bug bites recently. Some algae wafers. For the plecos from who is this from? Hikari. I like their tropical stuff. So some new foods. I picked up some live brine. I have micro worm culture that is sitting right here, kind of out of the way, away from the draft of the AC because it is warm out. So that's what I've been feeding, like all the little fry and stuff. So maybe I'll put that right there. I picked up some things that people left out at a yard sale. I got a free 30-gallon on the side of the road recently. It's actually, if you can see in the bedroom, it's sitting right there. It's on the floor. I'm just water testing it. I picked up some other supplies really cheaply from someone that was getting out of the thing. I got an Aqua Clear 70 or 50, some spray bars, plenty of heaters. Another, I don't know what this is, a Penguin or something. Can't remember. Some type of filter. Let me see. Yeah, it's Penguin. So it's a Marineland filter. Pretty big. I'm going to use this on one of my tanks. I might put that on the other side of the 55. This for extra filtration. I moved the Angel in here into this tank, into the 125, just a few days ago. Just because I was hoping that the Angel wasn't going to pick on people. Where is the Angel? Oh, it's hiding up by the top. I did recently. I remember last time I live streamed probably 3 weeks ago, or I did a video. I think I was live streaming at the time. I moved the convict cichlids out of that 75-gallon. I put them in this 125. They're fine. They didn't get eaten. There's like 6 or 8 of them, whatever I took out. And I want to say there's a couple in the African cichlid tank. I don't think those made it because the Africans like territory and they don't like people messing with their area. So I don't think they made it in that tank. I put that tote up there. That's just another fancy guppy tote with some shrimp. I moved some Naha grass, some Christmas moss, some Java moss, other mosses, flame mosses and stuff into that big 18-gallon tote right there. It looks like some of these shrimp that I recently got, I don't know if they're this newer shrimp, but they look like they have a clear middle section, almost like a red rilly. So I don't know. I mean, I can't remember if red rillies are neocardinas or are they the regular caridina. But they seem to be doing fine. They're in the planted tank. I got some plants in with that. What it is I ordered something off Aquabid, won a bid, and I got like 5 or 6 plants and some shrimp. Some blue bloodlet shrimp, I think 5 or 10 of them. I can't remember. Something for like $25 or so. Maybe 30 with shipping. I can't remember. They're doing great. That reminds me, I got to leave a review about on the Aquabid stuff. That way the person gets credit. I think I already did because it came in well shipped. I'll show the unboxing of that stuff at a later point in time. So, I mean, there's a lot of changes. I just got to do some recording, some editing. I have all those videos between my Google Pixel and my other phone that's charged that it's not on the plan. I can use it just through Wi-Fi. So I got that as a 1080p camera. It's got more storage than my Google Pixel. And lately, my Google Pixel, the battery's been dying after about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I got to see if I can't get that fixed, but that's another side note. I mean, it is like a 4-year-old phone, so it wouldn't surprise me if the battery's starting to crap out a little bit. Either that or I just haven't found the right software because I pretty much uninstalled everyone, and I really don't want to do a factory reset to my phone. Even though I can port the contacts back in, I just don't want to have to download all the softwares again. I'm being lazy. But I honestly don't think it's that. I think the battery's been slowly declining over the last 6-8 months. So, because before when I first got it from my dad, because, he gave it to me, it was his old phone. It was averaging somewhere between 8 and 12 hours, depending on what type of use it was. We'll say 8.5. Now it's down to like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, sometimes less, depending on what I'm running. But that's neither here nor there. But thank you again for anyone that's here. If you're here, I see there's 2 people watching this. Just say something in the chat so I can give you a shout out. Shout out to aquariumcoop for sharing the stream. I know it's during the summer, during the day, and I have 1 p.m. East Coast time. So a lot of the people that would normally watch me aren't. I don't even know where it's just busy for other people. You know what I mean? Between work and stuff like that. So I like this new this StreamYard. It works pretty well. I was going to see if there's a way I can add stuff in. So let's see. Brand, theme, minimal, default, minimal. Let's see. Brand color, logo, hide that. Upload. It wants me to upgrade to add a logo. Show. Live with StreamYard. That's cool. I can actually hide that one. Show the background. It's all right. I'm just messing around with this. So let's go back to comments. So again, thank you, aquariumcoop, for sharing this. If you're the one that was in here viewing, I appreciate it. I will be uploading some videos and editing those. Hopefully today, get some done. Get at least one of them done. That way I have some actual content besides this live stream. Thank you again. I appreciate you watching. And I will probably stream later tonight, probably around 8 or 9, maybe even 10, and go, till midnight or so. After my son's in bed and I can shut the door and all that. So take it easy, guys. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, people come as I want. I'm going to leave. What's up, Fish Tropic? What's up, Jason? How you doing? Long time no see, bro. So I'm just testing the StreamYard right now just to see what I like about it. I'm debating. I mean, it's free for here. Just got the notification. Yeah, it's because I'm using StreamYard. I can't share. Oh, yeah, I just should share to Fish Tank Dummies, shouldn't I, Jason? That way you would know. Well, you might a lot. I stopped streaming for a while, Jason, again. So because I was having issues with the internet, and now I figured it out. I hooked up my router. A router my dad gave me when he moved, and I have that as my access point, Wi-Fi access point. So my signal's so much stronger, and I'm actually directly connected right into the Wi-Fi router. I'm getting almost 100 megs down with my landlord's internet and almost 10 megs upload. So please let me know if you guys notice that it's starting to become laggy or choppy. Fish Tank Fanatics. I don't know. God, I shouldn't post it. Fish Tank Dummies. Fish Tank Guide for Dummies. I'll just share that group so Jason gets it. I remember when you could just do it to all your people that you were subbed to. Let's see. Just got notified. You leaving? I was going to leave because there was no one watching. Besides aquariumcoop. I mean, people have come in. I had and chat it, but I mean, I can add people here. I was just doing a testing out StreamYard because I couldn't get it to work last night. I spent 3 hours trying to get it to work, restarting, and then something today. I don't know what it is. I just got to figure it out. There's got to be a conflict or something with my camera that I mainly use, the one right here. If that's the problem, I'll just start streaming from my old phone with one of the other apps you can use to stream. Let's see. Oh, hi, Jason. I heard Jason is reading glow betas. The glowfish. Laugh out loud. I hate glowfish. The only reason why I have glowfish in my 75 is because I inherited them from my parents, and they've had them. No joke. Those glowfish. I want to say 4, 5, 6 years. I don't know how long tetras live for. They're the glow light tetras. I've lost a couple since they've been in the 75. I think some was a casualty was from one convict, one of them, and the others were probably just from old age. StreamYard is like Hangouts, but the nice thing about it is I can post up your thing. I can show the comment that people are like we're doing. So Pond and More, hi fish peeps. What's up, Pond and More? Bajorni, smile. Yeah, so it's like Google Hangouts, only less buggy. I want to say, I guess. I just seem to have more issues than with Google Hangouts. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just trying this, Jason, this because I like the whole thing where you can highlight a comment and hide it. Hey. Sorry, my phone. The journey, I missed you, bro. Bondi. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm just testing this out, like I said. I want to see it now that I got it working. Hopefully, knock on wood, I can keep it working. I just don't know if I want to pay the $20 a month in order to remove the StreamYard from the upper right and be able to put my Captain Savage logo and all that stuff in there, like branded out. Oh, let me actually see what it would cost. Upload. Open a new tab. I'm just going to put that over here. Captain Savage, Aquatics. I'm still learning about this, but that's okay. Yeah, see, no stream branding, unlimited broadcast, custom logos, custom overlays, upgrade. It's $20, but it's based on annual. I'd rather play monthly. I'm not paying $240 right now. So let's go back to the chat comments. JH Aquatics, what's up? Yo. Here, let me do this. Let me this invite. We'll see how this invite works. And see if anyone wants to join since people are showing up. Getting back into the streaming thing again, guys. For anyone that wasn't here, I'm just going to kind of reiterate. $20 a month, yeah, but annually it's $260. Yeah, that's way too much. Yep. Well, you got to think I'm paying for two, buddy. I pay for the other one. I mean, I reactivate it. So left side, they live maybe 3 years. Normal white skirts live 6+ years. Yeah, so they're glow light tetras. So my parents, they got to be pushing 4 to 5 years old right now, if not older. Because I gave my parents that tank when I moved out, and they put tetras in it within like a month or two of it being up. I literally moved it down, and they put fish in before I left. So they got to be 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, right. Why a duck? JH Aquatics says, yeah, right. Why a duck? Ducks playing streams. Hello, Joe. Quack. Yeah, right. Well, it's good to have people in here. To think Jason showed up and he was like, "Oh, great! I'll just chill now that Fish Tropics here." When I was just gonna go, quack quack. Isn't quack with the Q? I know everyone's just making fun. Aquarium Cop says, Joseph, I think I made a stream. He has glow betta fish. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's saying Jason has glow betta fish. I'd like to see that. I wouldn't want it to happen to him, though, because that's not fair to have dye injected or whatever they do to do it. Let's see. I just missed half the chat. Uh, Pond and More says I use the free version. I like the duck. Yeah, right. I started. Aquarium Cop says I started with piranhas, then silver dollars, then white skirts, and threw in a few glow skirts. And I love the shape and action of those fish. So that's what uh, a 40-year line. I only have one glow skirt. Yeah, right. Really? Interesting. The left side. I'm all caught up. Quack quack. Haha. Yeah, right. Some are born those colors now. Really? Only cheap ones are dyed. Oh, okay. I was thinking the ones from like Petco's and PetSmarts and stuff like that. The big whatever. You know. I know my parents went and got those glow lights from my old stomping grounds where I would, when I was living in Massachusetts in Fall River, the place I keep forgetting to go to when I would go to Massachusetts and see my parents, um, to do like a tour of the local fish store. That's where they got those glow light Tetris or whatever. So I know they have good quality fish come in. Only Fish Tropic says no. From what I heard they're born like this now. Probably because it's in their genetics, right? I heard somewhere or read somewhere that they genetically modified it and added the color or the pigment in. So I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. So how has everyone been? I know it's been the summer. I never got the ponds set up outside because I forgot to ask my landlord. Plus, I'm never home, so that big blue 18-gallon tote right there, or 16-gallon or 13-gallon, I could have put out on the porch. It's just getting too cold here at night already. It's dropping into the 40s and 50s at night now. Aquarium Cop says, Jason, they are like Lady Gaga, are born on this way. Okay. So did someone want an invite? I can put the invite. Here. Put me on the panel. There you go, JH. And I just added that, so Leo. Fish Tropic says, yeah, no kidding. 10 the other day here when I was fishing at night. Yeah, right. I don't know. One night I came home from work and it was like 42 degrees or whatever. Or when I looked at Saranac Lake, the low for the night was 43 degrees or something like that, which is crazy. I don't think I'll be putting any fish outdoors at this point. I know it's warming up. We're supposed to be in the high 70s to mid 80s this week. And the overnights are supposed to be in the 60s, but I think I missed my window. I would have had to do it last month at a minimum. So huge weather changes coming. Yeah, very quickly too, unfortunately. So yeah, I got some shrimp in. I picked up some one on Aquabid. Got 5 blue velvets for really cheap. I think with the shipping it was like $12. They're doing all right. Then from the same person, I want an order of 10 blue velvet shrimp with plants. So I got a bunch of plants. Most of them I put in the 75. So it's actually filling out a little bit better. A lot of stem plants, and he didn't. They didn't. The person didn't tell you. He's like, I'm going to send some plants. They're going to be whatever I have in stock, and I'm going to send them to you. They're going to be low to medium light or low light plants most of the time. Aquarium Cot says, I miss Jason Gaming fishing streams. Meh. Fish Tropic says, Cop, laugh out loud. That shot is harder than it looks. Laugh out loud. Oh, I believe it. Let's see. Now I put, let's see, put me on the panel, Joe. Click the link above. They inject, so JH says they inject jellyfish genes into the egg. Gotcha. Makes sense. Hi, Molly. Dolly, Dolly, Dolly. Let me make sure the settings came back up. Yep, there we go. Sorry about that. It's just because I pushed the mic out of the way and I have it going through the boom. Here, let me get it out from under there. Or at least there. Now it's got extra slack. So, Aquarium Sub says, so Pondy, did you take the boss advice and going to chill the heck out? I don't know. I'm getting on a conversation on the back end probably. Let's see. So if anyone's interested in joining in, feel free. Try and Bajourn. I'm really trying. Gotcha. So that's the link if you guys want to come in here and join the stream and sit here and chat. If you hear banging and stuff randomly, besides like water trickling and all that, it's because the next door neighbor right through there on the back side of the rack, there's a window right there. On the other side, they're redoing the roof in like one of the rooms or something because there's water damage. Ponza Moore says 15 September, Cannonball time and more. So let's see. I'll hide that now. Aquarium Cow says, Brian, do you have yourself a mod as a mod? Most people can just drop the link and tap on it. But you, on your stream right now, I can't click on it. I don't know how to add myself as a mod and stuff. I'm not familiar with this program at all. There, let me grab the code and put it in invite. There. I'll put it in the actual YouTube one that's open. Yeah, okay. They thought something was falling off my tank. Let's see. Give me a minute to make some coffee and I'll join you. Give me 10. You told me that before, Jason. Give me 10 and you never come in. So let's see. Bluegill and Bass, hi, just joined and liked the stream. Thank you, Bluegill.
Hey.
And who's saying hey? Oh, it's just a game in the background. Hi, Matthew. My son going back to watching YouTube videos or whatever. So surprising. Pond and Moore says, hi, Bluegill and Bass. So, no, some major changes are coming shortly. just I'm doing them in steps, so I don't go too crazy too quickly. Hi, it says bluegill and bass. Those tanks right there are getting out of there. I'm going to actually get some wood and actually start building the wooden rack for that. And actually, I'm probably just going to bring in my 40 breeder rack that I built from a while ago, put it in the corner, and then I'm going to build up off of that. All this frame and add more height to it. And then I'll have to build a table or a desk or whatever for my microwave in the kitchen and my coffee maker and all that stuff. So once that's done, I plan on going 3 high right there. I don't know if I'm going to do 40s or I'm going to just make it just nicer with 10s. I haven't decided yet. Yeah. And then the next after that, Bluegill and Bass says, how many gallons are in the tank behind you? It's really nice. Believe it or not, that's a 125. This rack's like 2 feet wide. So it takes up a lot of space. This tank's like 5.5 feet long, 30 inches tall, like 19 or 20 inches deep. Oh, look at that. There's Aquarium Cop. Add to the stream. There we go. He's muted now. So what I have in the 125 is I have convicts. I got 3 Oscars. I got 3 or 5 hyphen plecos in there. I have 2 green severums, a gold severum, a shabunkin, and 2 scarlet goldfish or whatever, feeder fish pretty much. I know they like colder waters and stuff, but they've gotten along. Most of those have been in the same tank growing up with the Oscars. So when I actually build the pond right here, that's what I'm still debating on. I want to, but I don't know if I'm going to do that because I'm saving money in order to maybe move into a new place or get my own place. Don't mind the airline hose. I just haven't had a chance to put the new airline I picked up on here. Just for extra power for the 2 big sponge filters in the 125. And Aquarium Cop's muted. So unmute mic. Can't unmute you guys because they chose to mute themselves. Oh, okay. That's funny. All right. Just looking to see if there's any other questions. Can you feed them during the stream maybe? I can feed them right now. I haven't fed them yet for the day. So use the big Bug Bites cichlid formula. The only ones I fed are the guppy tank and the because I'm pretty sure I got plecos breeding in that 175 right now. So I'm trying to keep up on water changes and all that. I did get some new fish for that. I'm not going to tell you what I got. You'll just have to wait till that video comes out. So yeah. I kind of go heavy because there is a lot of fish in this. And believe it or not, these convicts are spawning in this tank. I don't know if the babies are making it. But between all the stocking in here, I'm not really worried about it. And I even throw flakes in here just to be safe. Just so I know the convicts get fed. Because they won't come up to the top too much. I mean, they're like ditherfish, pretty much. I'm muted because I can't... Oh, El Tropical Pond and more. Welcome, welcome. So let me see how I can do this. Add to stream. Oh, there we go. El Tropico.
I'm in the show.
How you been?
That's what it's telling me. I'm in the show. Am I in the show?
Yeah, you're in the show.
Yeah, I'm in the show.
Just
So
make sure if anyone has YouTube open in the background, that's muted. Otherwise, you'll get echoes.
Yeah, this is a new format, eh?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I like it better than Hangouts. Just because, look at this. You can have 4 people up on the screen, no problem.
I just wonder.
Hello,
wonder
Brian. Hello,
going
Jason.
on, Ponds?
Hello, Ponds. Love you guys, but as you can see, once I talk, everything's gonna get all messed up. I have to mute myself.
All right. Yep. Hi. What were you saying, Jason?
I wonder if it lets me zoom.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure with the app because it's through a website. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It should let you on your phone, or if you're using a phone. I don't know. I'm not overall sure. I like the koi in the Pond and Moors area. I like that.
So what's everybody up to today?
Well, it's Monday, so you shouldn't ask that on a Monday.
Mondays are great. You're only 4 days away from fishing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, if you look, yeah. That's a nice way to look at it.
1 + 1 = fish. What's up, bud? How you been? On more or Safari on iPad. I need Google to run that. No, I'm not. See, I'm not sure what software you need to run. Actually, it is a plugin, isn't it?
If you're running it on a computer, you need Google Chrome. And if you do it on an iPad, you have to run it in Safari.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm still learning this StreamYard stuff. I like it. Look at that. Look at the action. You got Jason's guppies going nuts there. You got the koi. That's what I'd love to do is right here in this corner. Build the pond, put the Oscar in there.
Same here. I love to have a pond, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like my own personal pond. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Don't mind me. I'm just fooling around with the settings to see what I can make look the best.
Yep.
I like those ponds that have you seen those ponds that actually run inside the house too?
Oh wow. Those are great, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jason. Let me grab my earbuds because I got all the background noise from all the tanks, so
and you can swim in them and everything. They're all year ponds.
Mm-hmm.
How about the ones that people set up that are this pools? You know, they buy the 14 by 24s or whatever, or 8 by 24s.
Yeah, you can do that too.
No, I'm not thinking if you were like in Florida, where that's where I see the bulk of them. You know. Aquarium cops like Christian. What's that say? 7 days a month? Oh. 7 days, 1 month. I don't know what that means. Explain, Jason.
We have to look at the fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are nice. What are those? Rainbows?
Silver minnows.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Would you pick those up as like feeder fish or something?
Well, I was fishing, and when we were taking the boat out of the water, I seen a few of these.
Mm-hmm.
They allowed me to catch them with my hand, so I'm just like, okay, I'll take a couple. I know they're bait fish, but
who cares?
I was kind of curious because I see people collect these things and actually start like a bait tank.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm obviously not going to use them for bait, right?
Yeah, right. No, you're going to.
Well, I want to see, like, because these are more of a native fish here in Canada, I want to see how well they'll do with some tropical fish.
Right.
Because they're going to go into the 40 here with these guys, with the barbs and
Mm-hmm.
the angelfish, the lemii, some rasboro,
Mm-hmm.
some cardinals, checkered barbs, plecos. I just want to see how it's going to do in here because I know they're more or less of this. I don't know. I don't want to call them schooling. They're more of a grouping fish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when I was catching them, they were more or less grouped. They don't really school together. They have like their own little spots.
Right.
I would consider them more of a crevice fish.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Just
looks
from
good.
where I
Your tanks
grabbed them. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. I did a service. I did the 8-month service on the top fin filter here.
Oh, okay.
So I took that out a week or two ago, did the service on it. I noticed it was getting a little jammed up because the amount of fish that are actually in this tank.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say with the fish I added for all the new fry with the long fins,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably 80 fish in here now.
Wow. What size tank is it? A 20 or 30?
It's a 40.
Oh, 40. Sorry, you did say.
Yeah, it's a 40 breeder. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like 55-gallon tanks.
In a way, I kind of don't like mine right now, but it does have, African cichlids in it. I'm thinking of actually just getting rid of the 55 and just setting up the 75 with Africans.
Yeah, well, it's 55s to me are just like, I don't know. They're awkward. They're too skinny.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're using small fish like guppies and stuff, right? And
like 40s, they're just a lot wider.
Right.
Like a 55 would probably come to here.
Mm-hmm.
And just same size. I think it's 55s are 3 feet, aren't they? Or are they 4 feet? I can't remember.
They're 4 feet long.
Hey.
Looks good though. Now, how is the stream, guys? Is it lagging at all? Because
Nope, not at all. It's running great. Even YouTube is running great.
Oh, okay. Good, because I did hook up a router. Like, my dad gave me his old wireless router for his house, which was pretty kick-ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When my dad buys stuff, he doesn't go cheap.
By the way, Pam's in the house. Hi, Pam. How are you doing? But are you running StreamYard on a wireless router now? Or are you hard connected with it?
Yeah. Well, I had the Wi-Fi. I don't know where it is. A little USB Wi-Fi thing. But I was like, why am I doing this? So I plugged it back in, and I'm like, I set up that wireless router he gave me as of access point, and I just connected it to my landlord's. You know what I mean? So it's a repeater. So all I'm doing is repeating the cycle. Now I have 5 bars at 5G and 100 megs down and almost 12 megs up constantly.
That's enough for doing streams. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could with Google Hangouts or my old XSplit program. I could run 3 cameras right now with that upload.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And that's figuring 3 megs per camera for upload. That's what YouTube suggests.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the time, if you run Google Hangouts on a Wi-Fi connection, and you got more than 4 people in, it's going to crash. It's going to start stuttering and being digital and whatnot. So that's great. And StreamYard is still running great.
Well, that's because I'm pushing through a router. You know what I'm saying? Which has way more antenna. You know what I mean? Way bigger antenna than I had.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I didn't stream from my desktop hardly ever. When I did the last, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I did the last live streams, I was on my phone. My other phone. I was just using a different app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but now with the router, it's like I don't have to worry about any devices. White says sound and video is good for everyone. Yep. Because believe it or not, I was thinking of getting the internet again and paying what they say I owe them, even though I've showed proof with my ISP that I paid the bill about 6 or 8 times now. No point to. My landlord upgraded his internet, and he's like, "You can." Before I moved in, he's like, "You get free Wi-Fi with me." So,
Okay.
so why pay for it if I don't need it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a way better, more stable connection. It would actually be hardlined right to a router that goes right out, to the pole. But it is what it is. And the latency, I tested it. It's like 2 milliseconds, 3 millisecond delay tops. From my router to his. So.
Yeah.
And it averaged right around 18 to 20 when I did the speed test. So that's not bad.
No.
And there's no, how you can check for jitter on the line. There's no jitter on the line either. Like, for picking up electronic signals and all that stuff. So, so White says, you back on full time then, Brian? I'm going to try to be, but my schedule has changed a lot. I'm literally working 10 plus 12 hour day. Typically, almost every day I work is a 12-hour day, and then I have a hour each way, almost round trip, or one way just to get home. So, if that answers your question, I'm going to try and do this more. What's that alive culture of microworms?
Yeah.
Yep, I got mine right here. It's looking a little shabby because I only just got it in because I had to get a new one, and this bin is pretty big for what I have in here. I just got to go pick up some more, what is it, oatmeal or whatever you call dry stuff. I can't remember. You can use, what is it, the potatoes, dried out potatoes too, or the dehydrated one. What I do want to get is some mealworms because I'm going to feed my puffer mealworms.
Nice.
Yeah. Believe it or not, the puffer's doing great. It's got to be getting close to 6.5 inches maybe in length, Looks like a big fat cigar in a way.
Yeah, it's only going to get bigger.
Oh, yeah. Well, considering I got it when it was like maybe an inch and a half, that's not bad. And I've only had it, I think I got it back in December or January of this year. That's not bad. And I'm not power feeding the thing with big stuff either. So, White says, yeah, no problem, Brian. Hope to see you more often again, though. Oh, I plan to be around. That's why I'm testing this software. I would have streamed early this morning, but I was having issues. It didn't like my camera. And of course, I hadn't used my computer in a month, and I had a bunch of updates I had to do. So, gotta love those damn updates.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. What size pond is that? How many gallons is that pond?
I think it's 1,800 gallons.
Oh, really? So what's it like? 4 or 5 feet deep, 5 feet long by 5 feet or something? Or I can't.
Well, a grown-up person isn't able to stand in it. He will drown. So that's how deep it is. Yeah, I have to wait. I have to recalculate it because I don't work in inches or feet. I work in centimeters and meters over here.
Oh, okay. So then I would think that looks like about a 2 meter long by 2
2
meter.
meter by 10.
Yeah.
2 meter wide, 210 high width, and about 2 meter deep.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
For the amount of koi I have in it, it's too small, but it's working. It's working. So
Well, as long as it's over filtered and you can keep it clean, that's the main thing, right?
exactly, it's maybe 200 or 300% overfilled. I got a real beast of a filtration system on that pond. That's the only reason I got so much koi, because usually this would be really irresponsible to have so much fish in such a small pond.
Oh yeah. See, I'd love to have something like that in here, but that would like take up my whole area. This whole area with all the fish tanks right here. You know.
Yeah.
We could get you that suit.
What's that? Yeah, right. I'll have to dive in the pond just to get to my bed. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Next summer, I'll probably set up a few ponds at my friend's place.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of room out there, so I'll probably do that.
Cool. White says this
Hell,
time.
I might even talk him into letting me do a pond there.
Oh, nice. Well, ultimately, I think I told everyone last live stream I was on that my wife and I are trying to be officially separated or like done by the end of September. So once that happens, I'll be looking for my own place. Use my VA home loan.
Sure.
You know, I'll miss the rent here and the free Wi-Fi, but I've been looking at some homes online, and up here, land in a house like that VA, you know, that because the VA has really stringent, inspection guides. You know what I'm saying? For a veteran to get in a home because they guarantee the home loan.
Yeah.
Like there can't be any chipping paint on the wall or on the outside of the home, anything like that. It has to be like literally you walk in the door, live in. Like you can walk in and set your stuff up and you're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But homes up here, I mean, one that sold that my friend that I used to work with, one of the women I used to work with, she bought a house that was in really good condition for about 30 grand up here with about an acre of land. I know that's not much, but you know, that's not bad either. You know, you do a 30-year mortgage for 30 grand, that's nothing. What are you paying? 150, 200 bucks a month in rent or mortgage payment a month with insurance? You know, at most 300. So I don't know. If I can buy a place up here, I'll be digging ponds and putting them in myself. Daniel Fish Keeping says, "Evening, everybody." White says, "This is a good time for me. It's 7:42 p.m. It's normally a.m. when everyone streams." White says, "You got a nice pond." Nice pond. I just built my a little 2 meter by 2.5 meter, only 1.5 meter deep pond, and I love it. Says White. That's not a bad sized pond. See, up here in upstate New York, I would probably say have to dig down at least 5 or 6 feet, which is 2 meters at a minimum. If I was going to keep koi, you know what I mean? So I can get below the frost line. Because I think the frost line's like 3 feet here or 4 feet here during the winter, depending on how bad the winter is, if not more.
Yeah. Well, the pond you're looking at now, that's about 2.5 feet above ground. So part of it is below frost level, and part of it is above frost level. Especially we're thinking about getting kids. If you have a pond with ground level, the kid can drop in really quick. Now he has to climb 2.5 feet before he can get into the pond. So that was a safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to cover it up in winter, so I have a winter tent, building on it, so we don't get snow and or ice, so it doesn't even freeze up in winter up there. But we don't get winters that extreme like in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get some snow.
Oh, okay. So what's it get down for temperature your way?
Oh, wait. Degrees to Fahrenheit. Wait.
I'm in Fahrenheit, but if you put it in Celsius, I can always just look it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for you. Don't worry. Let's see. -10 is probably the maximum we're gonna have over there.
What'd you say? -1?
-10, sorry.
-10. So what's that? 30 Fahrenheit or 20 Fahrenheit?
-10 about. Yes.
I don't know the conversion. That's why I have to look it up. I actually have a tab that's bookmarked for that.
I'm gonna do it for you. Wait up. Fahrenheit Celsius. What is from change this one from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let's see, -10. What a work. Calculate. 14 Fahrenheit? No, that's incorrect.
-10.
Yeah, -10 is 14 over there.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a warm day for me up here in upstate New York. Jason can tell you, and Jason lives like kind of 5 hours or 6 hours northwest of me in Canada. You know, by drive, but it's probably, if I could fly as a crow does, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Probably it's only like a 2.5 hour flight. You know what I mean? Probably only like, you know, I think it's like 400 miles he's from me, roughly. But probably it's only like 100, 125 if, you know, you didn't have to worry about roadways and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. Reminds me, I was supposed to go up there and visit him this year. I've been talking about that for like 2 years now, if not more. Let's see. Jason says you're not far. Daniel's Fish Keeping says good evening, Pam. Hope all is well. Fish Tropic says I dropped. It was choppy. Maybe he was choppy or getting lag. I don't know if he was on his phone. Hey, White, you're not far. Hello, Jason. And of course, my dog Molly wants to play while I'm doing a live stream. That's typical. I just got to make sure she doesn't bite my wrist when she's aiming for the rope. All right, you can have the damn thing, dog. So, besides the pond, what else do you keep, or is that all you have? A pond?
A Maine Coon kitty cat. That's it. No, I'm the only guy in the fish family without tanks, so I'm the swing duck in the pond.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm gonna try something.
Yeah, see, the pond I'd be creating, I figured where this lazy boy is, if I was gonna do an indoor one, right? That's over here in the corner. It's gonna be like 4.5 feet long. So, what is that? About a meter? I would say 1.5 meters, 1.25 meters. Long, and then probably about 1 meter wide, and then 1 meter tall, probably roughly. You know, and I think it was going to be like either 250 gallons or like approaching like 400, depending on the height I went. Oh, I could add you back to the stream. That was weird.
Oh, it's not running that nice. That's my pond. That's the camera I'm using in the water, on the water.
Nice.
But the video quality ain't that good. It's an HD camera, but the network connection is lagging. Oh, this is really bad. But in wintertime, this is great because my pond is built with a tent, so I'm not able to look at them. So I can switch on my camera and do an inspection on them like this.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you say you have heaters in that pond during the winter or no?
Yeah, I got a heat pump on it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's right. Cool. No, because if I was ever going to dig a pond outside, I know the koi can overwinter, you know what I mean, without doing anything to they like hibernate, right? Pretty much. They go deep and they slow down to like hardly anything.
Oh, they even cuddle up next to each other and they still for 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're not floating upside down, don't worry, it's all right. They're kind of like hibernating. Yep.
Yeah, I know they said the main thing is because to keep oxygen in the water is to keep an air pump or an air stone out there to keep the top of the water broken. You know what I mean? But if I was going to have like a pond like you do, and it was winter up here, I just get one of those heaters that sit like that are one of the floating heaters, and just leave it plugged in. You know?
Yeah, you have to, because they can even survive under ice. So your pond can freeze up. That's no problem. But as soon as the oxygen gets out of the water, then you're gonna get into trouble. So you have to keep a bubbler or something on the ice or in the water flowing around to get some new oxygen in. And my filtration system runs on an airlift system. So I don't have an electric pump pumping water. I have an air membrane pumping 60 liters of pressurized air into the water, and that moves my whole system. So I got enough oxygen in the water, even if my pond freezes up completely.
Yep. See, that would be my big thing. Is I would probably, if I was going to do that, besides the floatable heater that's plugged in all the time, I would run an airline, but I'm going to dig that down like 2 or 3 feet under the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because even though the frost line gets there, I bet even at 3 feet, if I'm running like the conduit, you know what I'm saying? Like you see a lot of people in the fish rooms, like the inch conduit or half-inch conduit or whatever I'm running, that should be more than enough to keep that pipe unfrozen, even if I got the air pump inside my house. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, I'm gonna stop this camera because it's getting people to get sick on stream probably with this video quality.
No, it's all right. I like looking at them, but that's okay.
Okay.
No, it's
really
fine.
Usually it runs like water, but this is.
Well, it's going through the internet, plus you're streaming the overhead camera looking down into it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And
it could be my side too, because I could be lagging a little bit too, but no one's been complaining. So, Daniel's Fish Keeping says, "Hey, Fish Dropping, hope you good, Holmes." Daniel's Fish Keeping says, "Jealous. I wish I could run a pond with koi, but not allowed a pond just now." Yep. Well, ponds are not cheap to put in, even though I know how to build them because I've helped build them landscaping wise before. I mean, half the stuff is just making sure you don't puncture the liner. You know.
Well, I DIY my pond completely myself. Well, with some help from my dad, but it's all DIY. The only people that came in to help that was the people that welded in the liner. So it's a concrete top.
Yeah.
And there's a rubber liner in with a flexibility of 400%. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a little filtration system, the thing you can buy at Craigslist for a few bucks, and they tell you it's good for 20 kois and a pond as big as an Olympic swimming pool, but no, it's not going to work. So within 2 years, I built my own new filtration system from IBC tanks. You know those chemical tanks.
What? Say that again.
IBC, those pellet tanks, those white pellet tanks.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know the totes, anyways. You know.
So I cut one of those tanks up. I made a 4-chamber filtration system out of it, and that worked.
I know what you're talking about. Yep. That's awesome. I like looking at the koi. I know it's skipping around, but when you get the freeze frame, you really get a good picture of them. You know?
Yeah.
White says, when I was a kid, I had a goldfish. Hold on. I'll put that up on the screen. When I was a kid, I had a goldfish. I won it in the fair in an old sink out in the back garden. It used to freeze every year, but the goldfish survived well into my late teens. What's up, H.E. Aqua? How are you doing, buddy?
Yo, bro, that's my brother. Hi, Jesse. How you doing?
Daniel's Fish Keeping says, not that we take care of kids, so authority. So what? We take care of kids, so so authorities won't let us have a pond unless it has a large fixed grill, which would ruin it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I know up here, like if you're gonna put a pond in, you gotta have like some type of fence or something around it, per the ordinances, just so if kids happen to be, go through your yard or something, they can't get access to the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would be that guy that wouldn't put an actual nice wooden fence in because I'm too lazy and probably too cheap, even though I could build it. I just get one of those orange mesh ones and put it on the outside with rebar.
Oh no.
No, but I would have it like 20 to 30 feet standoff all the way around the pond, because up here you can get a house with like 8-10 acres worth of land for like 60, 70, 80, $100,000 easy.
Oh yeah.
It's the woods, it's the boonies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with different areas, maybe not here where I live in Saranac Lake. That'd probably be, with that much acreage, that'd probably be like 300,000-400,000, if not more. But I'm talking moving a little bit further away from everywhere. Moving the camera, huh?
Oh yeah.
Now, how do I? That's why you're sharing the screen. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, just put it on multi or full screens or whatever.
Here. What happened? I didn't remove it from the screen. Oh, full screen layout. That's why. It's probably because your camera. Oh, I'm gonna put that back. And go back to there.
Dad,
Yeah,
do you know where the cheese and turkey is?
it's in the cold cut drawer.
All right. You right back. Need a refill.
Let's see. 54 Punchy says, "Hey Jesse, hey Pam." Says Jesse, Daniel, I gotta go feed the human fry. Have fun, everyone. He Aqua says more and more rice fish fry every day. That's a fish I wouldn't mind trying out. Rice fish.
Is this still good?
Let me see. It should be. I put fresh stuff in there. Yeah, it's fine. My son's taking care of himself for lunch. So you gonna make me a sandwich too, Matthew?
No.
Why not?
They don't want to.
How about all those times I made you a sandwich? One-way street with that, I see.
Make yourself a sandwich.
White says you wouldn't still need a fence around a above ground pond, though, would you? Like a pond and more. I'm not sure with that because it's above ground. No, I wouldn't think so. That would be the cheaper route for me. Instead of digging and putting on that hard labor in when I eventually do get my own place, just pick up one of those big pool ponds that you see everyone putting big fish in. But that wouldn't help me during the winter, though. Unless I had like a heated garage or something like that I could keep the temp at, it was at least 40, 50 degrees in the garage or something. And then I would just put those thick rubber mats that you can buy from Tractor Supply, like the 2-inch or 3-inch foam mats or rubber mats down on the floor. That way the heat of the cold doesn't transfer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I would have loved to have my parents' old garage from when they lived. It was, a 2-bay garage, but realistically, space-wise, they probably could have fit another door in there. You know what I mean? I could just imagine this, my dad was out of town, if I was still living with him, if I was still in college, just setting up a pool pond, one of those pools right there in one of the bays, because his car wouldn't be there. That would have been awesome because that's a concrete pad, you know. Got to be 6-inch concrete reinforced pad, you know, to park cars on. That'll hold the weight from, 4,000 gallon pond. Or whatever it is, I don't know. Nice. Really, believe it or not, how I have it right now with the split screen with 3.
Dad, me?
That's the new one I picked up. Yep. There you go. So now that I did that, you can make me a sandwich.
No.
It's
Nice try, Dad.
you guys hear my son? He's like, "Nice try, Dad." Wow, all the koi gathering right there. Is that where you got the feeder right there?
Opera, yeah. And it should have been giving food already, so I don't know if it's jammed up or something. Usually at 8 o'clock, it gives something. Could be 2
I
3
think
minutes.
that I bet it is it 8 or I see. I don't know. Where are you located?
I'm in Europe. I'm from the Netherlands, so I'm a Dutch guy with tulips, clumps, and windmills.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I figured by your accent. I'm saying, what time is it there? Your time? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I know military time. I was in the Marine Corps over here, so I do know military time. So you're not that far, much further ahead. You're 6 hours ahead.
Yeah, I'm 6 hours with you, and I'm also 12 hours with Jesse. It's HE Aqua.
Yep.
Molly.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Molly's gonna sit there and like just stare at him while he eats his food.
I'm not eating out here. I'm actually.
Okay, so
eating.
you're not gonna make me a sandwich? You're cruel.
I'm not cruel.
Well, when I decide to stop at McDonald's or somewhere to eat, you can come back here and I'll make you dinner here, but I'll eat out. How about that? White says at Daniel Fish Keeping, laugh out loud. Human fry. Yep, 8 p.m. here or 8 a.m. here. Yep. Pondamore, good morning. Sorry. I typically, that's what I would do is I'd read the chat. You know, I wish there was a way, you know, how you can click on it in this program and put these up that it would show each person's chat for like 5 seconds or, 8 seconds, something like that, where it would automatically do it. And then if you really want to highlight it, it would be perfect.
Well, on StreamYard, we got our private chat, but that's just for the people that join the stream on video.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing I'm using 2 monitors, so I got on one monitor I got YouTube, on the other one I got StreamYard, so I'm able to keep an eye on his chat and YouTube.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Even though I'm streaming this, believe it or not, the YouTube has it quicker for the chat before it gets to this program or this website. You know what I mean? There's a delay of about 5-6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, it's already 2:04.
I kind of wanted more turkey.
You want more turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want a sandwich.
Yeah, tell him to make the sandwich.
Dad?
Well, there you go. There's your.
What is that? I'm not gonna put that on.
No, it's fine. It's just a piece of fat. Don't worry about that. Okay.
No.
He wants me to open up the whole other thing because I buy the deli meat ones. So you're gonna make me a sandwich, right?
No, I'm not. I want to put more. I want to put more chicken.
This isn't chicken. It's turkey.
I mean turkey. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, how hard is it to grab another plate, put 2 slices of bread on it, put a little bit of mayonnaise?
I'm not making you a sandwich. I already told you that. I'm not making you
All
a
right,
sandwich.
then that's fine. When I decide to go out for dinner, you're having food here, and I'm going out to get food.
Okay.
So, but what you don't know is you got to cook your own dinner. Pull that apart. My hands are not greasy. This, whatever.
All right, wait, I'll be right back. I have to check out the hopper. Something's not good.
Mm-hmm. So how's everyone's ponds going that have them set up? I can't run a pond right now. It's too cold at night. 45, 50 degrees, or mid 50s to low 40s during the night.
Hey, where's the container? Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Throw the other plastic thing away.
This? You mean?
Yeah.
And this?
No. Leave the Ziploc bags for the cheese. Don't throw that away. I'm talking the other plastic package that had the turkey in it. The empty one. Throw the empty turkey one away. Let's see. Oh, JH is here. Sorry, bud. I didn't realize you were waiting.
Hola.
How you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah. I finally got a new rack.
Looks nice. It looks like kind of like the one I have.
Pretty much.
Is what's it like? 4 feet long, or 5 feet long, and then 24 inches
77.
long. I'm not sure how long this one is.
It's 77 inches long. I'm putting I can do 7 if I do it real tight. I can do 7 10 gallons on each shelf.
If I do it real tight, I can fit 5. So,
Okay.
And so 77's what 6 feet and some like 6.5 feet long.
Yeah. So I've just got this top shelf. Well, I've got 4 shelves on there, but only 3 of them are going to have tanks. And the top shelf, I got stuff, and I have stuff on the bottom shelf. And you see on the bottom shelf, I've got a bunch of. It just came in. I got a bunch of Fluval Stratum and Eco Complete that came in, about 40 pounds of each.
Yeah, I got 3 boxes. I still have yet to bring the 3rd box in for my van.
Dad.
Oh, thank you.
I was making it a secret. I know it's not perfect, but
No, that's perfect. I'm not going to complain. I don't complain when
now
people make
you
food
take
for me.
all the words that you said back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, what?
See?
You did make a sandwich, did he?
He did make me a sandwich. He was just keeping it hidden.
Oh.
Yes, JH, it looks nice. And what's that? 2 2.5 gallon tanks right there, or 1 2.5 gallon tank, or 5 gallon tank or something.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 gallon, or actually, I think that is 1.5 gallon tank. Actually, the little one, it's empty. There's nothing in it, and not even water.
Mhm.
And then there's a old school, like the plastic marine hex tank that's just he was quarantined, but now I have I'm spawning killifish in there right now with a spawning mop.
Nice.
So I keep my Caridina shrimp on the bottom shelf, and I also have some like profit tanks on the bottom shelf. And then, anyways, I just put what I had up there now, but I have other tanks ordered. All the substrate that I have in bags now, and is all for tanks that are coming to St. Thomas soon enough here. But just taking it just a little step by step. But the house is pretty much, I've converted into a full-on, now that I'm single, it is a fish studio. I dub it a fish studio. The whole house pretty much. And because it is a studio apartment, I have my studio actually where I'm sitting right in the middle of it. And now pretty much 360, it's just tanks and fish lab stuff.
Nice. Well, I do like the rack setup. It looks good. I'm
Go ahead.
I'm gonna get off my butt and actually. I know I got the other 10 gallons. I'm gonna put all my shrimp tanks right here on this shelf because this little 3.5 nook has shrimp in it. The 22 or 20, the weird bow front. I'm actually gonna move that onto the shelf too. Just because that has a bunch.
Yeah, you definitely but you got to reinforce these shelves. I didn't do it at first, and I almost I almost had a meltdown. I almost lost a whole shelf. It was about to go. I could hear it making noises, and I started pulling tanks off that only had 15% of the water in them. I started pulling tanks off as fast as I could and stopped filling tanks. I was filling tanks, and I could hear the shelf starting to make noises. I was like, oh no. So I pulled everything off of it, and what it was is I had not tightened up the screws. There's those cross pieces that they give you to go in between there, and all they give you these little plastic clips to hold them into place. They don't do anything. I went to the store and bought nuts and bolts, and I took nuts and bolts, and I secured everything together really, really tight with nuts and bolts, and now it's solid. I don't have a problem at all, but I literally had to stop. I was scared to even get near it because I was afraid the whole thing was about to go. And I just started, because I was like, I can't just walk away. I need to do something. And so I just started taking tanks off, just picking them up like they were heavy, but I just started pulling tanks off the rack as fast as I could to take the weight off, and started draining tanks down, and then took the whole thing, all the weight off of it, and I tightened everything up and added some more nuts and bolts and stuff and tightened everything up really tight. So it will take the weight. It can take 1,400 pounds per shelf, but you kind of have to, not as it comes in the box, though. Not as it comes in the box. That's for sure.
Mine will take 1,000 pounds a shelf, but it sounds like, I don't know, this is like full metal, and it clips in like metal onto metal, you know what I mean? So
oh yeah, that's what this is. Same thing. We have the same thing. You just have a smaller one. Yours is probably made by Husky as well.
Mine's
right.
I don't know. It's a Gladiator.
Gladiator. No, you've got Husky and then you've got Gladiator. Those are the two kind of basic ones that you could find. After that, you got to go to like the industrial, like warehouse shelving units, which are pretty much the same thing. They're just a lot stronger and a lot more heavy duty. They're steel. They're not crap metal.
Yeah. Well, this is a heavy duty steel that it's on it. It's got to be. Yeah. It's got to be a little close to an eighth of an inch thick.
Oh, for the sides, but not the runners are a little thinner than the outside parts. The two outside legs are obviously very, very strong, but that's where I was having the problem. Those runners were starting to bow. Like they were starting to change shape on me. I had so much weight on it because they weren't secured with nuts and bolts.
In the shelving, right?
No. That main run in the front. Was bowing out.
Oh, really?
Not bowing down. It was bowing out. They were twisting. They were about to fall apart because I didn't have the bolts that should secure those cross members you were just touching underneath. Those need to be bolted together to those outside runners, or if you put too much weight on it, they will start to bow out, like twist. They'll start to twist.
I think how they get from this middle beam right here, in between the shelves, is beefier than the whole thing. It's like almost
that has to be there.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, because I thought it was going to twist. This thing won't twist.
No.
Like I don't know. Maybe it's this different quality. You know what I'm saying?
No. As long as you have it together, right? It's not going to twist when you where you were just touching it. But I didn't have it secured properly. That's what I'm saying. I didn't have it secured properly, and that started to bow out and twist out. And it was a moment there where it was like, do I get close to it or not? I had 5 aquariums on it, and half of them were full of water to the top, and I was like, all right, you got to think fast here, so you don't lose everything.
No,
that's probably one of the scariest moments of fish keeping, is having all that glass and water and all that weight can be a big deal.
Now, the only thing I didn't do that I think if I'm going to do anything is I'm going to get the metal thicker straps, and I'm going to bolt it to my wall.
Yeah. I need to do that too. We had, in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 earthquakes here. We had a 4.7 2 weeks ago, and then the day before yesterday, we had a 4.4.
Now, I think mine's pretty sturdy because I got a 55-gallon on the bottom. So that's just like set in dead center. You know what I'm saying? So that acts like a big anchor, because I only have the 4 10 gallons and the 3.5 on this right now. The rest is this, you know, extra fish gear and all that stuff. I don't have it as loaded as yours yet.
No, I was planning on doing 7 just straight across tanks. I have the addiction. I'm in trouble. And I like 10 gallons over 20s because I am in a small space and there's a lot of projects I want to do. And luckily, a lot of the fish I work with are nano fish, so I can breed them, grow them out, all that in 10 gallons. But the more the merrier, you know, the more test tubes, the better. It's like, I don't want one big 55 on there. Then it's like, okay, all that space is wasted. And that's one experiment, so to speak. I want as many experiments as I can get. They're like petri dishes to me. I want as many as I can get on that rack. So I'm having fun with it. I'm about the tank next to that little 1.5. Get healthy again. The female beat him up really bad. So he's by himself for a little while. But that tank is I'm about to work on my 3rd blue tetra tank, my nano blue tetras, which is that I collected when I was in Peru, and they've been breeding for me really well. So I get 3 or 4 tanks. If I get to like 4 tanks of those blue tetras, I'm gonna start working with some other people, getting some other people working with them, anyways. So I use foam instead of plywood. Everybody goes out and uses plywood. I can't afford that. So I was going to just use wood runners instead of a whole sheet of plywood to make the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had all this foam, 1.25 inch insulation, that really dense blue 1.25 inch foam insulation. It comes in the 4x8 sheets like plywood. And I had 2 of those here that I had made a divider in my studio apartment with at one point. And they're sitting out in my stairwell, kind of an ugly eyesore. And I just, I can't throw anything away. I was saving them to do something with them. And I realized I can just I'm only putting 10s, maybe 20s on here. I can totally use that. So I cut them to size, painted them black, and laid them down right on top of the wire racks that the unit comes with.
Oh,
and bam, I'm done. I'm good. It's
see,
solid.
That was going to be my question, because I just noticed, because I zoomed in on yours, it was solo, and I saw the wire. I'm like, that's a good idea, because I've been looking at the beefier racks when I actually get my own place, like heavier duty racks with the wire on it. I knew I was going to have to put either plywood or foam. I'm just going to use the, like you said, I'm going to get that blue, like 2-inch or 3-inch insulating board, like
I wouldn't go. They make it in 1 inch and 1.25 inch are the 2, or I think it's 3/4. They got a couple different sizes, but I guess I'm thinking about what I have here, which that doesn't count. But this is 1.25 inch. A sheet of plywood is going to be somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch, probably for that. So I only lost like an inch,
Right.
Oh, I gotta mute myself. I got boss calling me. 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Looking pretty good. Foam, hell yeah. So yeah, that's what I was gonna use on my shelves, but on my shelves, they're wooden shelves with particle board. But I trust it because I just don't have that much weight on it. And I do check to see if they're bowing at all, and I don't see any type of bow. So I may just buy the foam itself, like the 1/2 inch foam from one of the lumber places down here, 3/4 inch foam, and I'll top the shelf with that. That way, if there's any type of imperfections on the shelf or whatever, that they can sit on that harder foam. But that'll be a project for later. I want to say he said there was 14 tanks on there, because he said he can set up 7 lengthwise, widthwise right there. And he has 10 gallons, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Mm-hmm.
Can you open this?
Hi guys. Take a break. Just
Warning, loud sound. There, there.
yeah, as you can hear, my son things playing in the background. Let's see. He's getting cookies. I'm getting cookies. Sorry, I don't mean to make everyone hungry. Matthew, here you go.
There we go.
Now I just need milk. Private chat. Ring, ring, ding dong. Oh. Here we go. There's El Tropico. He's back.
Back in the show.
What's up? Was it your phone was dying? That's why it was starting to lag out or something?
No, it was just lagging when Pawns and More was chatting there. I don't know if that's
Besides that, was the stream lagging at all or no?
No, it's pretty good on the other end. It's probably my connection.
Mm-hmm. I just, you know how phones, they heat up? Oh, thank you, bud. Here we go. My son's hooking me up real good right now.
What's he doing?
Anything else?
1 second.
You gotta hook it.
He hooked me up with chocolate chip cookies that I bought yesterday. Thinking of him.
Oh, hell yeah.
Soft and squishy ones. And I'm like, oh, what you really need to do is just help me with a glass of milk, too.
What I do is I hook you up with a glass of milk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Oh,
why
there we
I
go.
threw out my plate, but I threw out my plate, so I'm getting.
Uh-huh. Well, unless the plate's dirty, put them underneath because we can recycle the paper
I
plates.
threw
But
it out.
don't throw it out.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm being a piggy right now, eating on live stream. Having cookies and milk.
You're snacking. Go for a snack myself.
Right? I'm making everyone hungry probably right now.
I feel like some Oreos. I guess these guys want some food.
Yeah, hey, well, you can't throw that bag out. We need to put the cookies back in, though, otherwise they'll get hard.
Okay, but the bag's open.
All right, then go under there and grab a gallon bag. The door right there. Move her crate out of the way. Right there, there's Ziploc bags, gallon size. Throw the cookies in there. There's JH coming back. Maybe he can answer your question. I can't remember what he said. I want to say he said he had 14 tanks on that rack.
This is not big enough.
You need one that size that you're holding right now. Or you can, no, don't take that bag. Put all those bags back in. Take like 2 or 3
Alrighty.
out and put the cookies in 2 or 3.
El Tropico. I wonder who that is. El Tropico. Someone also just sent me this big old bag. I just threw it on my shelf. It's peat moss. I mean, no, not peat moss. Cocoa core, like powdered cocoa core, right? For like killifish eggs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I can. It's more that it's enough forever, but it's for my like killifish egg containers and stuff. All that good stuff. What are you doing, Jason?
Just chilling out, feeding the fish.
Sweet.
Got these guys growing out. I'm gonna take these Pentazona barbs out next week and get these guys going, get their numbers up.
You don't need 3 bags.
Okay, if one bag does it, perfect.
Yeah, I wasn't that successful breeding the checkered barbs. I only got one fry out of them. But I also bred them differently than I did the rosy barbs. So
How do you do your barbs?
well, I'm new to barb breeding or anything that's really egg scattering.
Yeah.
So it's more or less trial and error and temperature.
I do the I've done them before. What I do is have some kind of it's either two things that I like to do is either a false bottom of some kind, you know, where like I use like a grate or a screen so that the eggs can fall through that screen.
Yeah.
Keeps it's either that or they're going to eat them. So that's how I do to catch them. Or I take a little a little plastic, like a little container, and put it in the bottom of the aquarium with a bunch of marbles in it, and then put Java moss on top of that, and let them kind of spawn in the Java moss, and it stuff should fall down through and into between the marbles, and they can't get to them and eat them in between the marbles. So there's that. And then to get them to induce it, I literally just take a trio with like a female and 2 males, or maybe even 2 males and 2 females, or even just a pair at the very least. Sometimes the pair is just the best. And then you put them in the night before and let them get comfortable overnight. And the next morning, as soon as the lights come on in the morning, usually light, from my experience with barbs, they like to spawn in the mornings as soon as the first sight of light or whatever. So like give them like a half an hour after light, and they should be spawning like crazy in the morning through the Java moss. And then by noon, I remove the parents.
Well, pretty much what I did, because I read a little bit and watched a few videos. I fattened up the female for a week. I was feeding it really shrimp, brine shrimp, pretty much anything that was really healthy to stack up just acids and whatever that fish is going to need to drop a bunch of eggs, right? So I noticed after a week, after me feeding it live shrimp and all of that, she was plump, ready to go. And I took the male, put it over at nighttime, shut the light off, unplugged the heater, and the next morning, like you said, I waited an hour or two, and then I pulled the mop out, right? Well, no, I didn't pull the mop out. I pulled the parents out and just let them hatch in the water that they were thrown in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much I had a pretty successful rate. I had probably over 50 fry easily. Not too many survived. A lot of them had deformities. I think I'm left with probably 20, 25 of them.
Cool.
And I still have a few over in the other tank here that are fry size, right? It's like they're just so stunted they can't grow.
That's a bummer.
So like my method, like even with my method with these barbs too, you're going to have fish that are bigger than others. So you're going to need separate tanks to move these fish when the bigger barb gets bigger, because what happens when you start feeding that bigger barb is going to take all that food. These barbs, they can eat all day.
Yeah. Oh, just like a lot of things with my blue bolts.
You could feed these guys 6-8 times a day. It's just the other fish around them, they can't handle all that food because they're going to want to join in, and then you're going to get bloat. You're going to run into issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, for me, I literally almost have to keep different generations of fry separate, just even so they don't predate on each other. But yeah, you just really do. I'm at that place with my blue tetras is I have to remove, for a couple of reasons. I have to remove the fry so that they can grow out in our own tank, because for 2 reasons. For one, there's competition for food. The adolescent fry adolescent fish are going to predate on the microscopic fry and affect the ability to kind of colony breed like I'm getting right now. And then they also, when the fry are young like that, they're putting out a lot of hormones into the water, which is going to stunt them. So they kind of probably need to be in a separate tank with a lot more water changes than the adult fish, so you can keep those hormones low, so they don't stunt out and dwarf out from the hormones of the water. So it's like, yeah, you definitely got to keep. I'm trying to colony breed stuff, and I'm realizing no, you really, if I want it to work the best way, I got to have more tanks. Just more tanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like one species, you need at least 3 tanks. You know,
At
like,
least bare
least.
minimum. And then if you're trying to line breed, you need 10 plus.
Oh yeah. But like I'm the mad scientist method, right? Like with the guppies, I'll throw them all in one tank, but I know exactly what lineages are going on in that tank, and what I do is I'll call out the ones that I don't want in the tank eventually, right? As soon as I see those males that I don't want in there, I'll call those males out, right? Throw them in another tank.
Right.
So like I said, I get lots of fucking like really cool variations of fish right now going on in this tank.
I even noticed one time I had barbs stunt on me when I had left the fry in like that 1.5 gallon tank that's sitting there on the shelf. It's actually was that tank.
Mm-hmm.
I was growing out cherry barb fry in that, and I left them in there for too many weeks before putting them into a 10 or a 20 gallon, and I stunted them because they stayed in that 1.5 gallon aquarium for a week too long.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's all you got to give them that. Always keep giving them more room and keep the hormones low in the water so that doesn't, and then or it'll happen. Yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah, like I remember doing it way back when I started to breed plecos. It just wasn't a good show off because too many plecos in one tank, no water changes, you're gonna end up with an issue.
Well, and they're gonna make a lot of waste too. That's one reason why I don't do plecoscamus is I don't feel like dealing with that much poopy water.
Well, that's why I have mine in my 75 gallon.
Yeah, or goldfish or any of that. Nah, I like my little nano microfish that are like delicate and tiny, and I don't know. I like that stuff. I think I always liked miniatures. I grew up in a family of artists, and I used to play around and do art and carve stone and stuff. But I used to carve miniature stuff out of stone. I just always liked the small stuff. I think that's why I like the shrimp, and I like all the fish that I have is, or like the killifish or wild betta fish that like they live in a puddle in the middle of a flooded rainforest. To me, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, they survive annually in a puddle, and a pile of leaves and a puddle and oh man, it's just like it's so cool how life will find a way how powerful.
Have you bred lamp-eye killifish?
No, the only killifish that I've done is the Gardner eye.
Gardner eye. And what do you do for those guys?
Spawning mop or what I want to do. See, to me spawning mops is cool, but to me I like the challenge of getting the fish to do it on their own in the tank alone. And I know you can't always get them to parent raise them, but I'd like to do killifish in like a tank with cocoa core and leaf litter at the bottom and get them to spawn in that and parent raise their fry in the same tank. That's something I'd like to actually make happen. Like I'm doing a spawning mop right now to answer your question. And that's like, yeah, it works. I can go in there and get like 5 or 6 eggs a day. Easy off of one pair.
Nice.
He almost killed the female. I mean, she almost killed the male though. Like he is so. I pulled him out last night. He's so beat up. He's been to war and back.
That's okay.
So when you grab those little eggs out, what do you do with them?
I put them on moist cocoa core and a plastic container for 2 to 3 weeks, and I do it that way rather than hatching them. You could hatch them within a week or two in water. Just leave them in water in their own tank, and they should hatch. But I like to take all the eggs over a period of a week, put them into something, let them sit there for 3 to 4 weeks, and then when I put water on them, they all hatch at the same time. So all of my fry are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
I think it's like if you're dealing with a killifish that you can put them on peat I mean, on Coco Core, why not do that so that your hatch rate, everything works, everything happens on the same day and the same hour or two. Some of them take a little longer. I've had it happen where like the majority of your eggs are going to hatch within the first 45 minutes, hour. And then you're going to have stragglers over the next day or two that will hatch that could hatch if you leave them. Like what I've done is I take the Coco Core in the bottom with the eggs, and then you just fill that up with water. And rather doing water changes, you add a little bit more water each day to that like 16-ounce deli container is what I do. And I just keep adding a little bit of water rather than doing water changes, because that would shock the fry, which I've done too and killed killifish fry by trying to do water changes on fry in their first week. It's best to just leave them be.
So what do you just use tank water to fill up?
I make RODI water, so I use RODI water. But that could be a problem too. I thought about maybe I killed them with the fact that my water changes were RODI water, but
And there's no minerals in the water.
I didn't remineralize for that. For the fry, I didn't. When I killed them doing a water change, I did not remineralize. I'm pretty much giving them pure 3 parts per million water.
Mm-hmm. Which is
and
probably not good for them.
No, I think I did over a 50% water change, and that's where I goofed up. If I would have just been topping off or adding a little bit of water each day, like a couple tablespoons of water, and then you slowly fill up that over a week and a half, you fill up your 16-ounce deli container, and by then they're on baby brine shrimp, and they're ready to go into a real glass aquarium. Or I know people, right, like even Lucas, that just leave them in these little plastic things on a shelf for months.
Well, because that's what they do if they laid eggs and then the puddle dried, right?
Right. It's no different than being in the jungle. It works enough for them. But you've seen, what's that guy, famous guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he literally has like those little trays, those little shelves that you like put screws in, that rack with all the little drawers.
Yeah.
And he literally puts water and killifish eggs in each of those little drawers and like lets them hatch out, and does little miniature water changes on those little drawers.
Well, you got to think with water, if you add water to that puddle, like if it was this to fill back up, that's going to be like hundreds of parts per million being on the, in the forest somewhere. You know what I mean?
There's going to be softened up with stuff because of all the organics and the.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's good. The TDS is going to be off the wall initially, but then it'll filter out. But
yeah, I could see myself. I get that. I could see myself in the future when you're dealing with like week-old killifish fry. You might want to have like a container of aged water or some safe tank water.
Mm-hmm.
You're not contaminating them with something from that tank.
Well, also
aged water, basically.
Have you thought about this using tank water and then put a little bit of safe in it, like this? Like,
I try not to use those chemicals as much as possible. I'll be honest. I got bottles and bottles of water conditioner, all kinds of brands. People have given me all kinds of stuff. I really don't use it. I RODI my water. It runs through sediment filters, carbon filters, and then through a 4-stage RODI, and I'm about to add 2 more stages to it. It's coming in the mail. It should be here any day. And then, so it'll be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-stage water filtration system. And then whatever.
How many gallons per day does that RODI system do? 50,
100. 100, yeah.
Is there any brand you prefer or that you think is better?
Aquatic Life is what I work with.
I've always come back to Aquatic Life because I look at them on Amazon, because I'm tempted, because I know I have well water here, but during the summer or after the winter, that spring when it starts warming up, they nuke the water with chlorine and chloramine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Even though it's well water, they still nuke it because there's like 7 or 8 big deep wells. You know what I mean? In my area that they just put in the town did, but just to kill any bacteria in the pipes or anything like that, Because I test my water like once a month. Otherwise, I just put it to the tank and I don't even add safe to it. You know what I mean? Or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not using an RODI or anything like that. So,
Well, but it's having the Caridina shrimp is the main reason, and then all the fish that I have from Peru, they're the wild caught first generation, not first generation, but the wild caughts that I have. In order to get them to breed, I have to recreate those conditions. And
yeah, which is what like next to
24 parts per million.
Yeah, it's like
25
next
parts per million.
because that so much water's flying through those creeks and rivers that.
Well, and then like we've been talking about because of the burnings, that's like the lungs of our planet. In a huge portion of the water for our planet comes from the rainforest, so they're getting like the rainwater's pretty clean as well, going back into these waterways.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
Except
I'm
with
sure
all
that
the burning now, right?
yeah, except for the fact that there's
Yeah.
smoke and ashes and everything.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to matter because that forms carbon. You know what I mean? And as far as I know, you can filter water with carbon, right?
Yeah,
It all depends on what type
there's
of ash it
definitely
is.
carcinogenics there, though. There's definitely a carcinogenic property to it that can cause cancer in animals and stuff like that. That I think people need to think about. But
Well, I'm thinking of the jungle where they just burn it to make grassland, and there's no trash or anything like that. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some of the biggest ones is like McDonald's and Burger King and stuff. They literally slashing and burning land for cattle. So, I mean, a lot of the meat, like for big Burger King and McDonald's, they raise their cattle in South America and Brazil.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Well, they also source their meat from around the world, but that's one of the big they're one of the big ones is like Burger King and McDonald's and stuff. They have a lot of cattle farming going on down there in South America. If you've ever watched that movie, what is it, Super Size Me? They're talking about.
Oh yeah, I've seen that movie. Where he eats food for
homogenized meat.
McDonald's for like a year or something.
Well, right, but the fact that like a hamburger patty has meat in it, pasteurized meat that's been blended of about 5,000 different cattle, and one hamburger. When you eat one hamburger patty, you're eating the meat of like potentially thousands of different cattle. It's not like going and grinding your beef and like this hamburger is one cow, one cow. Like there's difference.
Yeah.
All right, my boss is outside with a check. I gotta be right back.
All right.
Gotta go collect that.
Mm-hmm. What were those, Jason? What were those fries with like where it looked like they were clear and they were red and then clear like that one that the pleco looked like he was going to eat? The shrimp. Sorry, the shrimp. My bad. That red and like it has like looks like white or a translucent body. Is that
These guys?
Yeah. Is that a really or what is it?
Well, it's a variation of it, really.
And do those come from the Caridina?
Well, yeah, they're Neos.
Okay, because I got some shrimp in here. Because I got some cherry red shrimp in, some blue velvets and stuff, and some of them look like that.
You see the variations?
Yep. I think it looks cool.
I gotta call that one.
Which one? The one that's really clear?
Yeah, that's a call to me. These guys, I'm kind of collecting these guys with the circles and patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know.
I'm just trying to eat them.
Yeah, be my guest.
No.
That's what they're there for.
Will eat shrimp if they have the chance to. If they're hungry.
This guy's pretty cool. Check this guy out.
Right. Hold on. Let me increase the screen so I can get a better. What's that? That looks deep red. Well, it looks like almost like a brownish black. I can't see. The camera's not. It's deceiving. You know what I mean?
Well, just total difference. This is the one I actually started the tank with.
What is it? That's the red, really?
I don't know. It's like a fire red or something.
I don't know. I know they said you shouldn't mix the blues and the reds and, just because they can interbreed and make the natural color or whatever, or change up the genetics. It's like, I don't really care.
Have fun with it,
Hold
right?
on.
Right.
I'll grab I'll grab a flashlight and see if that helps any. What happened there?
The one thing with Neos is you're not gonna like, yeah, that's all that's ever gonna really happen though. It seems like with Neos is you'll revert back to that like wild type, but you're not gonna
Where it's like reddish brown, or kind of
or like more transparent with the tiger stripes almost that a shrimp would have naturally.
because
You know, at their segments there'd be a little bit of change of color, so it's kind of almost like some striping, but with Neos, I'm sorry, with Caridina shrimp, you can definitely selectively like create new things. Like it's different. Like Neocaridina shrimp, is like red cherries are red cherries, blue dreams are blue dreams. They are what they are.
It's come from red cherries. You know?
Right, but you can breed. You breed what you have, but if there's only a certain point when, if you're not culling and controlling it, they're gonna back. If you just like my red cherry shrimp, they've gone back to a little bit more of a transparent wild type and doing stuff like that shrimp right there in the front that's kind of like a really and stuff like that. But it's because I had 2 months without electricity after Irma and I didn't even get to monitor them really, and they melted back and whoever survived, and I wasn't culling anything, so they just kind of reverted back to a wild type cherry shrimp a little bit. So they don't look dark red like Jason's right there.
As the pleco comes into the view, hey, I'm here.
Some of them look nice, but now I got to take the time of doing a heavily culling process to get my shrimp back to what they were before.
Yeah, because I added like 15 blue velvets to the bow front and probably 20 fire reds or shrimp. I don't know. You know, the Neocaridina line, right? Plus I had the snowball shrimp from Jeremy in that tank too. So there's like 3 or 4 different types of shrimp in that tank. And one of them, like no joke, I swear the thing was like almost 4 inches long. The other day it was sitting on one of my airline tubes and it looked like almost like a reddish, like almost like brown. That's why I thought it was like reverting to natural. The thing was massive.
Yeah,
I've got
look at this one.
Back line now.
This one's
Which
huge.
the dark one? Oh yeah. That's the thing I've noticed. If I take my females and I put them into a large tank without any males, and I let them stay there for like 3 months, they blow up. They get huge, and they can't breed. They don't put none of their energy goes into egg laying, or or making eggs or any of that. They just get massive.
And then I would get back in with males, and then they get pregnant, or no?
Well, what I've been doing at that point now is hand picking the females that really are stunning at that point. Yeah, and then hand picking and I'll breed from those. So I'm taking younger females that look pretty awesome, and I'm pulling them into their own tank, and then let them just turn into it's like a sorority tank of red cherry shrimp. But I'm breeding for this white backline, which is supposedly more of a painted trait, considered a painted cherry. So it's actually considered more valuable, I guess. I don't know. I just started to get this white backline on my cherry shrimp, and then after Irma and Maria, I couldn't really, it kind of got out of control and I couldn't get rid of it. So now I'm like, let's just breed for it. So I'm doing I have red cherry shrimp that I'm breeding for with a white backline.
And I'm sure eventually someone's going to make it. I'm sure people have this bred shrimp and looking for a specific. And then when they get a certain shrimp, they probably rename it to something like and they're selling it. Hey, this is my Red Ridley King. You know what I mean? Some crazy ass name, right?
Well, I feel like you can't get away with that so much with Neos these days, but you can get away with that with Caridina shrimp. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can really, in 3 to 4 years, if you have enough tanks and you put the work into it, you could create your own line of shrimp. Like, have you ever heard of the Dancing Man shrimp?
No.
It's called
Yeah.
Dancing Man. It's a copyrighted brand. It's like a copyrighted shrimp. This girl, I met her at Aquatic Experience 2017, and she was selling them there. We had them there at Flip Aquatics booth and stuff, and we were talking to her about it and stuff. She said that it took her like 6.5 years to create that shrimp. But she said now, knowing what she knows now, she says she knows she could do it in 3 years. She could create any line that her own thing. It's within 3 years or so. Now that she knows what she needs to do right to make it happen. So, I mean, it takes time, but it's not that much time. I mean, you think about it, 3 years is that's realistic to come up with your own strain of shrimp that probably can breed true, or at least you can cull for it and try to keep it
To breed as true as possible, right?
phenotypes alive. Yeah, but yeah, she sells those shrimp for like, they're expensive. I don't even know what they're
That's
going
what Pam
Dancing
was saying. Oh, their Dancing Man shrimp are super expensive too.
Yeah, I'm sure they're just getting better though, because if as a breeder, I'm sure her line is getting even cleaner.
So with the regular Caridina, so you need to have an RODI system. So what do you got to have it? Less than 100 parts per million or 50 parts per million or less?
Under 100 after remineralized. After it's remineralized, it should be stay under 100, and you make your shrimp super duper happy. You can go over, you're just not going to see them perform well, and you'll see them probably slowly die off. But if you keep
they like really soft water. Oh.
Yeah, so I just start with RODI water, and then I remineralize with calcium, magnesium, and iron to get me up to about 75 parts per million. And then I'll do a squirt of Easy Green for the plants, which gives a little bit of other stuff too. So, and that's what like. I'll squirt each tank individually with the Easy Green, and that's more for fertilizing the plants. But for the shrimp tanks, I add calcium, magnesium, and an iodine. Some iron from the iodine. Anyways.
Yeah, I got that stuff on order, like the mineral rocks and all that stuff. I'm just waiting for them to come in. So
I'm about to go with Brightwell. I've really been impressed with Brightwell's products, and I'm going to be meeting with them in Aquashella about some of their stuff. But I want to try out their shrimp line of products. They have a whole line of stuff for invertebrates.
I saw that too.
Yeah, if nothing else, they sell the powdered buffering agents for like
the
GH. Yeah. So, and using RO, I really need to get that. Like I could go through bottles and bottles of that, like a bottle a month, of like 2 bottles a month, the size that they sell it. I need big bottles. I need bags. This stuff. I'm like, that's why I want to talk to them. I'm like, I need not little bottles of. Need big bottles.
Some wholesalers online that does big bulk stuff.
Well, not whole. I'm going straight to I'm talking with like the owner of Brightwell Aquatics. I'm trying to get it. I want to work with them. If they'll work with me, because I like their substrate. I like their buffering agents, at least for remineralizing my water.
Well, that's what I have for like the cichlid stuff, because I got that through my aquarium box, right? Their samples before it came out.
The fluorine, the Delta GH.
Yeah.
No, that's different. That's not the.
Never mind. I thought this was Brightwell. This is Continuum.
Continuum.
Continuum, I like their products too. Like these were like samples before they came out with the actual product line. You know what I'm saying?
I think the biggest key is to try to go with something that's shalated or shalloted, or however you want to pronounce it.
Shalated, I know what you're saying.
Shalated, whatever. It's just so much easier for the plants to absorb the nutrients. Stuff like that.
And you know what's funny is I got the FERT background from doing pesticide applicating and all that stuff, where I could probably just call my old place that I used to buy supplies from. You know what I mean? And
right here, Cappy.
Yep, I see it. Trace Elements. Yep, I saw that. I saw that when you started shaking it. But I'm honestly, for my planted tanks, all I use is like the Marigold Grow, but I make sure it was the one with the least amount of copper in it, because even though copper is harmful for shrimp, they still need a tiny bit of it, a very like microscopic amount of it. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't had any shrimp deaths based on how I mix it, just because it was cheap. But the stuff.
Oh, I've noticed more deaths on shrimp. For me, I get more deaths from temperature than anything else.
Do you typically run your tanks cooler? Because I keep mine right around 70, 71.
Yeah, 70. I keep it 72 degrees.
Oh, okay. Now, they might fluctuate when I don't have the AC on here. You know what I mean? When I go to work, and if it was really hot, they might bump up to like 74, 75. But that would happen in nature anyways. You know what I mean? So, but I usually keep my shrimp at, I would say, max 73 degrees. And I've seen them take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with Paradina shrimp, you go over 75 degrees and you're going to see deaths. You know, maybe one here, one there. Like every day you're going to see shrimp dying. Yeah, and if if I feel like if you're seeing shrimp dying, and that's just slowly every once in a while one is dying, but on a regular basis, I would tell someone, yeah, check your temperature first. Are you fluctuating in the day over 3 degrees?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So part of it too with like Caradina shrimp, they're coming out of these mountain streams in Taiwan.
60 degrees, 65 degree.
Well, they're springs. They're mountain springs. So the water's coming out of the ground at a consistent temperature 24 hours a day. It doesn't fluctuate. It's coming out of the ground at like ambient earth temperature. Like
55, 60 degrees at most.
No. Ambient temperature, like if you were to go caving, I believe ambient temperature is 72 degrees. 72.5. 72.5 is technically like the ambient temperature if you were to go into a cave and go underground. So that should be about what the water temperature is. So, and that makes perfect sense because 72.5 degrees is the perfect temperature for most everybody that I know in the Caradina world. 72, 72.5, no higher than 73. And so it makes perfect sense. They're coming from places where there's this consistent temperature, water temperature. It never fluctuates for the most part, unless you're in some part where the sun's beaming down into a spool of water, but the water's still a flowing stream, so it's still staying cold, even though the sun's shining into the creek or the stream or something, right? So
that's funny. On my mother-in-law's dad's property, they have a natural spring that bubbles up from the ground, or it's mountain fed, or however it is. And I'd love to get to it. She's like, it's probably covered over with vines and stuff like that, but you could go in there and get it cleared out. Because she wants me to buy her father's house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an old 4-bedroom, nice wood house. Like he built it for himself. It's nice woodwork and all that stuff, but the rooms are like tiny though. You know what I mean? I'd love to get to that spring and find out, because I guess when he originally built the house, when the water bottle companies started becoming more around, they heard that he had a large natural spring and they wanted to come in and pump his place out. You know what I mean? Pull the trucks in, grab some spring water, bring it back to the plant, filter it or whatever. You know, whatever they have to do to make it so they can sell it, and go from there.
So I'm stoked. Remember Captain? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm rambling about
I was just going to ask you.
She wasn't about
plans
fish.
with all the tanks.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, the blue bowl. I have breeding programs that I'm working on. I'm about breeding more than anything. It's just in my blood. It's something I really enjoy doing. So it's like I could just put a bunch of scape tanks, but that's just not. I want to breed stuff. So my blue tetras is very important because it's threatened and it's a threatened species. And so that makes sense. And then I'm working on killifish and my wild guppies and wild betta fish. I like my wild fish, wild type species.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of those that aren't so pretty and they get overlooked. Most people ignore them and overlook them because they're not some pretty fish for the hobby, but their environments are being destroyed. They need to be protected, and they don't get the protection and the attention because they're just not as pretty. But there's a lot of wild betta fish like that that are just like, they're very beautiful in their own way, but they're very dark and drab and dull, and people tend to stay away from them.
Oh yeah, you're talking the wild caught ones.
Wild betta fish.
Yeah,
There's about 72. There's 72 right now, at least known by man and recorded by man. 72 different species of wild betta fish.
I can't remember what the channel for the life of me right now because I haven't been looking up on channels. But there was a betta channel where people, all they did was they wanted to breed the wild bettas, and they would set up like the terrariums or vivariums with the water and stuff with the bettas and all that, and breed them out and put them in as close to their natural habitat as possible. Like they would get the big mason jars, like 2 or 3 gallon mason jars, and put them in there with the cover, the lid and whatever.
Well, that's the same thing. It's the same concept. A lot of times with wild caught species, you're going to have to recreate almost to a T that wild and their actual biotope in order to get them to breed or spawn or whatever. Just because you caught them from that spot, they don't know any different. Now your F1, F2 generations, you can kind of evolve them into a different, condition them to breed in different environments or different parameters, but those wild caught fish, if they actually, or an actual wild caught, not just wild type or wild genetics, if they're actually were caught in the wild and sent to you, you got to or you brought them for yourself out from the wild. You got to kind of have to get those parameters, or you're not going to get them. Like I said, once you get the F1, like my blue tetras, even I get to like this F1 and F2 generation, they're going to get hardier
as you go.
Yeah, they'll get hardier, and then maybe down the line, maybe 10 years from now, who knows what it takes, they'll be hardy enough to be in the trade. You'll see them in the pet store, maybe. Who knows? But right now, they're a little too fragile to ship. They have a very sensitive slime coat layer, and if you touch them with your bare hands, you'll kill one. It'll die. It'll float in 15, 20 minutes. It'll be floating on the top.
It's almost like you got to do like what doctors do and scrub your hands like they're going in for brain surgery.
I don't put my hands in a lot of my tanks. I do not put my hands in the tanks unless I need to, unless it's a necessity. I don't put my hands in most of my tanks.
Have you ever thought about buying those like special gloves that you can get for just like almost like medical gloves, but they don't release anything? They're completely inert.
No, I mean, if I got to put my hands, I'll put my hands in when I need to, and I'll clean them. But I'm just saying, like as a regular practice for me, a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with, especially like my blue tetras, I can't put my hand in that tank. I've got this perfectly set up layer of duckweed on the surface with little openings where the fry can hang out. If I stuck my hand in there, when I pull my hand out, I could have microscopic fry stuck to my hand. When I pull there's so many reasons why some of my tanks, I wouldn't even put my hand in there unless I need to. If I got to pull something out, I'll use tweezers. Maybe a hose goes in there to do water changes. But besides that, I try to stay out of it, let them do their thing. But that's because I'm trying to breed. I'm not trying cleaning the algae off a tank because it's trying to be a show tank. That's what my living room's for. The tanks in my living room are like my pretty tanks, and everything on this rack in the kitchen is all about functionality. And
makes sense.
And giving the fish their own little test tube biotope, and so they'll make babies for me.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you guys I picked up, or when I first started this live stream, I picked up a 30-gallon on the side of the road. It's fully sealed, like brand new. Someone was just put it out to the trash, so I cleaned it all up and whatever. It's just sitting in my bedroom holding water because I want to make sure the seals are good, right? And it's been up for 2 weeks with water in it, so I think they're good. And I picked up 2 20 longs from a little person that's who's getting out of the doing salt or whatever. two 20 longs, two 10s, and what was it? A weird number one with like a 30 low or 30 long or something like that. You know what I mean?
Nice.
You know, for cheap money. And pumps, you know, like that you would see what you would use in salt water, you know, the different types of pumps, or what do you call them? I can't remember the name of them. You know, just to push water. I can't remember the name. Whatever, who cares? I picked up a bunch of that stuff, bunch of brand new heaters, you know, all kinds of stuff for like $50. This person was like, take the other 4 or 5 tanks that are here. It's like, I don't have room for them. I didn't have room for them in my van, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome though, picking up some free tanks.
Oh yeah. Well, I got that one, but the other tanks, it was like practically free with what they wanted.
So what are you breeding nowadays?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you certain fish that I just got in, but the super reds that were in the tank are breeding. I removed the angelfish. The angelfish is in the tank behind me. So I know those are breeding because I've seen them in the caves when I've actually gone in there to plant those plants I got with the shrimp.
Yeah.
You know, they were separately packaged and all that. So I put all that stuff in there. So pretty much the super reds are breeding in there. The chocolate plecos are breeding in there. The only thing I really have in there is tetras now at this point. You know, for upper, you know what I mean, the top water swimming stuff, or middle and up. Besides that, I mean, there's really not much else in there that besides plants. It's kind of like a for-profit tank. Whatever I can get in there that'll breed, I'm putting in there. You know, that's not gonna.
The super reds, are they long fin?
Maybe. I'll tell you, there's one long fin in there. It's still small. It's probably only like 2 inches long, right? Maybe 3.
Yeah.
So it's not even. I don't even think it's breeding age yet. But I picked up other stuff too, to bring some numbers of stuff up that I lost. That's about the biggest hint I'm going to give to you, but a different variant. I'll just put it that way.
I wonder if anybody's bred albino reds.
No clue. Those would probably sell for big money, more than I'd be willing to pay.
Because like even me, when I started breeding, when I first got my first breeding pair of bristlenose plecos, I was getting at least 10 albinos out of every hatch rate, right? A couple of years go by and then it just depletes to nothing, right? So what you need to do if you want those guys, you got to take the offspring and start breeding those guys, right? Because I swear over how many times they breed, it just washes out.
No, exactly. I mean, I do have that one albino chocolate pleco that's the male in there. That's huge. I don't know if that's breeding at all because he kind of just chills in the one thing. Honestly, I'm about to move him out and actually put him in the 125 just because I'm tired of him uprooting all my plants that I keep replanting. Because he comes by and this, like, I got some new stem plants in when I got that shrimp package. It came with plants for free or as part of the package. I just didn't know what I was going to get. It was kind of, you get what I have in stock type of a thing. You know what I mean? So I got like, I would say 12 or 15 plants in the mail with those shrimp, you know, for like $25 with shipping. You know what I mean? Total. With the fish that I picked up plus them. Or no, that was shrimp. Never mind. The 10 blue velvets, and then it came with the shrimp. It was kind of like a bonus pack he was doing on Aquabit, the guy was. The plants came in healthy as crap. I'm tired of that big chocolate pleco knocking all the stem plants out that I keep replanting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as it is, that 75 gallon, I had 1.5 bags when I did the base coat of that 75 gallon with the Eco Complete. So I got 2 big boxes, 50-pound or 40-pound bags that I'm going to go put in that tank. I just want to, and it's like pre-rinsed. I think Eco Complete comes pre-rinsed, but I was going to put it through a brand new 5-gallon pail, right, and wash it. That way I can literally just take it and drop it in the 75. But I'm going to more or less use a shovel scoop and, let's shovel it in where I need it.
Wait a minute. You talking about Eco Complete?
Yeah.
It's not pre-rinsed. It's in beneficial bacteria. There's water inside the bag. That water in the bag is beneficial bacteria that should go into the aquarium. You can rinse it. You're talking about Eco Complete. You can rinse that out if you don't want it there, but they literally put beneficial fluid in the bag with beneficial bacteria on purpose.
Yeah.
To help cycle the tank.
Well, I was trying to get some of the dust out of it.
I remember one time I sold this bag of I don't know what, I think it was ADA. And this guy kept coming back weekly saying how dirty it was. Because he kept taking it out of the tank and washing it. I was just like, okay, well, you're not supposed to be washing that.
Well, that's the problem with things like ADA or Fluval. Yeah.
It's just going to break apart every time you wash it, and it's going to be like dirty, and you
erode it away
yourself. Why isn't this coming clean? I don't really use any of that stuff for it. I just use whatever I got. So I'm more or less when I break down my tanks, I'm bare bottom. I'm gonna set up like dividers, silicone them in, and set up a few bare bottom traps to catch eggs.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. You don't really need gravel, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit, but.
Well, for me, it's a buffering agent.
I don't know.
And then
it's more of a mess.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. It's just more of a mess.
I mix Fluval Stratum with Eco Complete 50-50.
I like Fluval Stratum. That's what I have in my shrimp tank.
I like some of the nutrients in it, and I like the buffering properties of Fluval Stratum. But it is really difficult when it comes to planting stuff because stuff will float. It'll come right up out of the substrate. I like Eco Complete because it's got more of like structural integrity. It's more.
It's actually a bigger.
It's got jagged edges and stuff. So when you put a plant down into that substrate, it stays down in there, and things root very easily to it, and it's anchored. The plants are anchored. So I do a mix. And Eco Complete is cheaper than Fluval Stratum, so and it will buffer the substrate still for shrimp. So I mix the Eco Complete Fluval 50-50, and then add something for calcium buffer, like put something in there like aragonite or something that to help for the snails and for the invertebrates.
Well, you could always put crushed coral in there.
Well,
too,
that's why I would rather go.
That's what
bare bottom and then because then I could just pot the plants and then I could fill each pot with something different for the water column and
aragonite.
Easy peasy. Well, every year, 6 months, whatever's in that, I'll pump out and replace it.
No, don't get me wrong. I was talking like when I was going to rinse the Eco Complete, I was just doing it very lightly. I know there's beneficial stuff in there. I've used it before.
Yeah, if you're doing plants, I would do it.
Yeah. Huh? I'm sorry. I didn't get what you said.
I don't know. I've had success with just regular gravel.
I
don't know. You guys are chopping up.
It's not for that. I like the look of the black. Anyways.
Yeah, and I know some people that do rinse Eco Complete. They don't want any of that stuff in the tank. They literally do rinse out the Eco Complete.
Well, I was just literally all I'm doing was I was just gonna. No, I don't mind the beneficial. How much you gonna do from a light rinsing? And I was just gonna put it through the tank water that I'm taking out, anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
I
just wanted to make it a deeper.
Really good for plants and shrimp.
You what? What'd you say? What was the first part of that?
I said I think the stratum's really good for the shrimp and plants, but the fish, I don't know.
Oh, you're talking the Fluval stratum? Because Eco completes in there.
I consider, to me, substrate is a form of filtration because surface area is where your beneficial bacteria is going to be, not in the water column itself. So by having that bed of substrate, you have all of these little pieces of material that have a surface area to them, and that's all the place for beneficial bacteria, which is going to help create a balance in the tank. That's why, if nothing else, I think even if you were to put, like I have a tank that I take care of in town here at an office. They've had it for 20 years. I did not get rid of their substrate. All they had was like gravel that you get from the pet store,
Right.
for, cheap gravel from a whatever, garbage, dyed stuff, whatever. So I never got rid of it. I couldn't afford. They weren't going to pay for like new substrate or anything. I rinsed it once, but I put it back in the tank and I reset the tank when I took over it, and I rescaped the tank and everything when I took over it. But my point is that gravel, even though it's not a buffered substrate coming from organic materials or whatever, it's 20 years old. It's been cycled for 20 years. There's so much bacteria and that beneficial bacteria living on that gravel right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of my easiest tanks out of all the tanks I have at home. I go to that tank and it's sitting pretty over there, crystal clear, no algae on the glass. It looks great because the gravel is 20 years old.
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I still have, when I took down my tanks after leaving my parents' house and moving up here, I still, when I moved in here, I had the gravel, the red and white gravel that I had set up for my turtle tank set up, and I took the Eco Complete from my like shrimp and fancy guppy tank and all that, those tanks, and I took them with me. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it got all dried out, so I'm sure I lost almost all the beneficial bacteria, right? Besides whatever would just grow on it naturally from being dried out. But I put those back right in my tank once I set up these tanks in this apartment. So I had, 3 or 4 5-gallon buckets worth of all that media. You know what I mean? Even though it's dried out, it still works,
There's going to be something. It's going to be seeded with something, but
it's not going to be, it's going to have to rebuild, but you can consider that stuff seasoned, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For 4 years and then like a couple year break and then re-seasoned for the rest of the time I've been here for another 4 years or 8 years, you know what I mean?
There's something to be said, like even like people like Dean's Fish Room, which is
I know who you're talking about.
Which is like all bare bottom. Everything's just, you're not going to find mulm in any of his tanks. And I'm over here like creating it on purpose. So it's like everybody's got their own style. I think that the leaf litter to me is beneficial bacteria too, because when you put that leaf litter in there, the surface area of those leaves is home to bacteria, which is creating a cycle. Like for me, when I want to cycle a tank, I will go and vacuum out mulm and leaf litter out of another tank and put that into the tank and put a new fresh sponge filter in the new tank and let that sponge filter suck up all that mulm that I just vacuumed out of another tank.
Jason,
see the sponge filter that way,
Jason this asked, he's like, Captain, do you have a TDS meter? You know this one, Jason. I do. I actually have 2 of them because the other one broke. And I have not tested my TDS because I don't want to know, because when I have my breaks, when I get really busy, all I'm doing is minimal water changes most of the time, just topping off, unless I see something wrong with the tank. Besides that, I just leave them, So pretty much when I took the 4-month break or 5-month break till the last time I came back streaming and creating content, I had not gone in and done any type of gravel vac or anything like that, unless I was literally topping off tanks. That's all I was doing. And believe it or not, I didn't see any dead loss because of it. I don't know. What do you think, JH?
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. I'm in trouble now. I have the a significant other on the phone here that's she's texting me stuff and asking me questions. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No,
It's space. What'd you say? Say it again. I'm
I
sorry.
was just saying, what is your opinion? Like when I was off for 3 or 4 months where I wasn't live streaming, I wasn't creating content, when I was really busy with work because we were so short-staffed, all I was doing was topping off tanks. Sometimes I would put safe in. Most of the time I wouldn't. I'd just literally be running and gunning, filling tanks, and I didn't do any water changes, like literally for 3 months, 4 months. You know,
Well,
you have been there.
yeah, I mean, I did 2 months without. I did 2 months like that after Irma.
Mhm. I
No
remember
power,
that.
no electricity. So it wasn't just no water changes. There was no nothing. Nothing. They were sitting test tubes, just sitting glass boxes with fish in them. And
Did you ever get solar to put sponge filters or anything in there?
I lightly fed them. I just gave them dustings, like dusted, like powdered fish food, very lightly.
Mhm.
Fed them, but kept the bioload low and prayed for the plants to filter. But all my tanks have multiple species of live plants. So that's where I think I got saved too. Is I could go 2 months as long as I opened up the window and got a little bit of light in here every once in a while.
Mhm.
A lot of my plants survived. I lost some stuff, but the plants helped create a balance through 2 months of no electricity. So my fish room was like Lucas's fish room is right now, but I didn't have a choice. But
Well, and Lucas, if I remember correctly, he kind of just tops off. He doesn't do huge water changes or anything, right? He kind of lets it be all.
no, he doesn't top off. He does 20% water changes with RODI, remineralized RODI water.
Mhm.
But he's turned off all of his. Hang on the backs, and he's turned off a lot of his air. So literally, he's got a lot of his tanks now. Nothing. It's quiet. You walk into his fish room and it's silence in some of his rooms.
He just runs heaters, or does he not even do heaters? I don't know.
I guess he heats the house. He heats the house.
Oh,
It's
okay.
It's got a whole downstairs of his house. It's like 4 or 5 rooms. Is his fish house, his fish floor, the fish floor.
Right. See, that's what I was trying to do, get rid of the hang-on backs. That's why I bought the big air pump, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to get off of all the hang-on backs as much as I could, because
Yeah.
do you know how much my power bill went down monthly when I cut this just to the one hang-on back I'm using, and it's straight up sponge filters or 2 canister filters? It dropped by like $30 or $40 a month.
Oh, even this rack behind me is about to get cheaper. So this rack, I've got 200. I got 2 Whisper 100s on the top shelf, which you can't hear at all. I got them running on the top shelf right now, and that's even overkill for what I have. Those 2 Whisper 100s will run this whole rack, even when it's full, for the most part. I might need a 3rd air pump maybe, but so you got 2 air pumps. That's running all the filtration for all the aquariums. And then what I'm going to do is get the LED shop light strips, the really, really low profile, they're literally just a strip, not the big housing and stuff like you would see on a shop light, but off of Amazon. And I'm going to run 2 rows on underneath each of the 3 shelves that have tanks.
Right.
So that would be, and those light strips, like each one of those strips, like the 3-inch strips, run 3 watts. So if say there's 4 of those, 4 3-inch ones underneath of each shelf, that's 12 watts per shelf, 36 watts in lighting.
Believe it or not,
And LED, like 36 real watts of power for all the LED light strips to run that whole rack, and only do 7 hours a day. Like an incandescent light bulb is a minimum of like 40 watts usually. So
depending on the size, or 60 watts. It all depends on the size of
But I'm powering the, so for the power, including the air pumps, probably. Well, the air pumps are running 24 hours a day, maybe, but so for the power of like 1 or 2 light bulbs, I'm running the whole rack because I'm using air for filtration and using low voltage LED lighting. And like, so, but I have still, it's hard to argue that with people like, say, my landlord or something when it comes to power consumption or something. It's like, this is super economical. It's really super cheap. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money to have hundreds of fish tanks. You just need to be smart about it.
That's
or
why,
like Lucas, he's got 400 tanks. If he's not running anything, there's just 400 glass boxes. There's no real overhead on that from that. It's just labor.
yeah, right.
Just
Well, that's what I was going to say, is because on my other tanks where you'll see, like, it looks like I have them set up for turtles. You know what I mean? Because I used to have turtles at one point, so I got the clamp on lights. I just put a 5 or 7K bulb in that's LED, and that only takes like 6 watts or 12 watts tops. You know what I mean? And like this one that's over here, that's a shop light that I got for like $20 because it was on sale. I mean, that is like 30 watts, 36 watts by itself, and you can see it literally brightens up my whole room.
all right, and that's crazy. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm gonna do your idea, like underneath. I was just gonna get the strip lighting, like you said, right online. Make sure it's waterproof. Maybe put a wood or metal backing to it, like almost like Greg Jones. I don't know if you watch his channels. When he did his racks, he put it on wood. You know what I mean? And just run a strip of wood or right to the wood itself and be done. Or I might just put it on right on the inside of the metal tubing shelf because it's like a half C. You know what I mean? That holds the shelf. I could just have it broadcast. Stick it to the side with the 3mm tape and be done. Not even actually have direct light down. Just let it, put it all the way around, wrap the inside, and I'm set.
Yeah. So the reason why I found out about Aquatic Life is they make lights as well. And so a while ago, years ago, I bought one of their lights. I bought the Aquatic Life Halo light, which is a $400 light. And that's on my 30-gallon, like behind me whenever I stream and stuff. There's a 29-gallon bow face tank with a pendant light above it. And that's a $400 pendant light. And that light itself is 60 watts. So it's like just for the power consumption of one high power, one like high-end aquarium light, I can power a whole rack.
And almost get the same. You're not going to get quite the same performance, but you don't need to if you're just kind of doing low
performance. Is about what is performance to me? Performance is breeding, and I don't need light to breed fish.
No. But I'm thinking for me, like if I'm going to be, I want to sell plants and all that. I want to get back to where.
Right.
Plants get gills against stuff and put plants on there, like with the Naha grass. You got your guppy grass, you got, what I mean, Java fern, Java moss, all that stuff. No joke. Sorry, I don't.
No, you're good. You're good.
Out of this 25 bow front, the Christmas moss and the Java moss mix that I pulled out, no joke. My bow front light couldn't penetrate like below 4 inches of the surface from the top of the bow front. That's how much Java moss was and Christmas moss was in there, right? I took that and I split it and put it into literally every tank I have, and that was only half of it.
Yeah.
In the 55-gallon, it's like it takes like a third of the 55-gallon from top to the bottom up.
I think right now one of my best things for profit right now is my cherry shrimp, because I can set up a tank like at the bottom shelf of that rack. I have a tank down there, 10 gallons. I put like 10 cherry shrimp in there, maybe almost 3 months ago, and I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shrimp in there, and all I have is some leaf litter and some duckweed in there, or hornwort and leaf litter at the bottom, and they live off of the leaf litter, and then I put some quality foods in there on top of that. But all those shrimp in a little bit here, I'm going to go in there and harvest that tank and completely break that tank down, harvest all the shrimp out of it, and they're going to a pet store. Like,
Nice.
I mean, I trade them for aquariums is what I mean. I do it like I get store credit for the shrimp, and then I get a little bit higher than wholesale. He tacks on a little something, but he gives me a pretty decent price on.
Yeah, he's not marking you up like 30 to 50% that he probably does.
Well, basically, they're still expensive, the tanks, to me, compared for you guys in the States with dollar per gallon sales, but what he would sell the tanks for in the store, he's giving me them cheaper than what he would sell them for retail here. So I'm getting cheaper than retail for here, which is not saying much. You can go to the there's a pet store here on our island, or our vet office, that has aquariums, and they don't know how to take care of fish at all.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about that. They sell the Marineland kit with the plastic hood and the cheap little LED lights that go in there, and it comes with some fake plants and the hang on the back. That Marineland is $225 on my island.
For what, a 10 gallon or 20?
It's a 20-gallon Marineland kit.
Yeah, I have one. I bought one, and mine was like a little over $100.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry, it was $89.99 or something like that.
It should be $89.99, and you can actually get them on Amazon for about $100. All the 4 tanks that are on my wood rack behind me when I stream in my living room there, those 4 20 gallons I purchased off of Amazon.com and had them shipped in the mail, 20-gallon Marineland kits, and I paid $120 with shipping. That's with shipping. I paid $120 a piece for them. But the place here on the island, they sell them for the same kit for $225. Yep. So I thought I was getting a deal when I got those aquariums. You know, I'm just have $400 worth of glass back there that you guys would get for $80 in the States. Mm-hmm. Well, it's the kit,
because you ship it to an island. And,
plus, I'm getting the kit, and I don't want the kit anyways. I just want the glass. I don't need the kit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the.
The only reason I picked up the 20 long Marineland that's sitting in my kitchen, the way it is, that I actually have the puffer in, that was a kit. It was because it was $89 on sale. You know what I mean? Normally it retails for like $140, $150, or something like that. So I know exactly where you're coming from.
So I've been thinking lately, talking about that, and I was thinking about it earlier today. I've never tried to make money off of this here locally where I live, because I just think, I'm not going to make money at like the hobby or working with fish tanks or cleaning tanks or whatever here. Mm-hmm. So, but just recently I'm starting to think, I could probably at least do something with like an open house here, maybe have some kits, buy some kits wholesale of like more better kits, like Fluval, like some cubes or some Fluval Flex or something like that, right? And literally like do business out of my house where I have a couple of these kits, I have a back stock of some substrate and some stuff, and on an appointment people could come by and or do like I could do, like I said, like an open house one night with cheese and wine and crackers and stuff or whatever, and have people come over and they could see all my tanks, see the fish that I have for sale, and I could show a couple. I have the kits available, and I bet you I could sell a couple of freaking dinner lake cubes or something on that evening. And then people are going to come back to me for plants. They're going to come back to me for everything that they need, because there's no other place to get good stuff on island unless they have to go to Amazon for it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe, I feel like this might be more work than it's worth on the little island, a 4,000 people population that we have here. Mm-hmm. But it's not even about that. I guess part of it is like the hobby. And
plus you get your name out there, because then you never know, those people that make a little bit more money that have fish tanks in their house. Hey, we know this guy. He's got tanks and they all look good. Why don't we have him come in and do our maintenance?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I've done a lot of rough jobs in my life, and I don't want to clean tanks for a living. I'll pay someone else to do it. I would create the service, manage the bookings, the scheduling, but I would hire some other passionate fish keeping kid to clean tanks for me. I'm 40 years old. And, sorry. I'm not like I don't want to work hard, but I've been a residential commercial plumber. I've done electrical work. I've done a lot of ditches. I've moved a lot of cinder blocks and done hard labor. And it's like
I know what you're talking about. Been there, done that.
40, I'm trying to work smart, not hard.
Mm-hmm.
No, hire some kids, have them go clean tanks with their own car. Give them some gas money. Give them a per diem. They take their own vehicle.
Mm-hmm. You set up. You give them all their supplies. They come to your place. Hey, here's your here's 5 5-gallon buckets. This is for clean water. This is for dirty.
They get everything. Yeah, they give them all the supplies they need. I have a friend. I know a kid. Well, I have a friend that has a fish store in Florida, and he has a kid that cleans tanks for him, and that kid makes $1,000 a week cleaning fish tanks.
That's not bad. That's good money.
No, it's better than mowing lawns, I think.
Yep. I mean, it all depends. It all depends on what the client has. Do they have where you can hook a python up, or do you have to, bring 5-gallon buckets up and downstairs all day? You know what I mean?
Oh, right. That's why you get a kid to do it.
Mm-hmm. Or you get an adult and you show the kid, hey, this is how I would clean.
Oh, yeah.
This is, like when you take them around, because I've been trying to start something like this on the side. I'm same as you. I'm 39. I don't want to be cleaning tanks, but at the same time, if I can make extra money on the side, cash, why not?
It's just weird, the cost of business and cost of operation of anything like that, even that, compared to doing other things. At least I know that I could do at home, like working out. Like right now, I'm talking to you guys. I'm doing SEO on a website right now. I do website work for somebody, so I'm getting to work from home and do website work. But I know I could go be a plumber right now because I have the knowledge and the skills, but if I can sit in my living room in the air conditioning for maybe $10 cheaper an hour and work on websites, I'm gonna go with that right now.
Right.
But I guess if I'm talking about going and doing tanks and stuff, I mean, you got to think about all that. Think about the maintenance on your vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Time
Believe me, I priced it out.
How many hours you're going to spend driving to and from, like that. All should be.
Well, that's where it would be included in the price, because I basically said, okay, I'll go like 25 or 50 miles from my place each way max, and I figured what the tank of gas is going to cost me. You know what I mean? Because I got a van. It's not the greatest on gas, but it gets probably about 20, 21 a month. Highway. You know what I'm saying? So. What's a quarter tank of gas cost me? And what's the maintenance? You know what I mean? I do have somewhat of a business background, because when I landscaped to help my old boss, that I help him build up the company. You know what I mean? So I kind of know how to price stuff right where it's not too much, but it's enough where I can make my costs and make a little bit of profit. You know what I mean?
Right. I hear you. Yeah, I know it's. Yeah, as long as you're making money and you're not losing money, that's where it's at.
Well, it all depends. Are you losing money to pick up another client? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to give this person a discount because they're going to give me 2 other people that they know that have tanks. Sure. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think I'm going to call it quits here, guys, because I don't know how long we've been broadcasting. Almost 3 hours. I appreciate you being in here, JH. Fish Tropic. Pond Guru. I know he left a while ago.
Oh, he's working probably. Was he working today? I'm lucky that I'm in front of a computer, or I wouldn't have been able to be on here today. Sometimes I'm working in public, and wouldn't even know. I would have missed this. But
appointment man. Fish Tropic says 80 an hour. Thanks.
80 an hour, right?
I wish I could make 80 an hour. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'm sorry the stream was all over the place, guys, but it was nice to sit here for 2 or 3 hours and do this stuff.
I missed the late night streams there, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
well, aren't you East Coast time, or are you a little bit further ahead? I can't remember.
Yeah, Eastern Standard. It's 3:41 right now in the afternoon.
Yeah, same here. So yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to catch up because I know it's fun because you have a lot of great points and views based on being on an island because it's a unique thing. Not many people, not many.
I remember back in the beginning when I first met you and I was chilling in the chat and I was like in trouble with this little goofy laptop that wasn't doing anything and we were talking about computer stuff and I was trying to get myself to, and now I'm sitting here with a full studio, 2 monitors, lights, cameras.
And I remember you chasing me, and I feel so bad because I
have a beast, but now I have this beast of an editing machine. It's like a monster. Got multiple graphics cards in it, and other hard drives, and like I'm grateful to find to come as far as I have with this stuff, and
it's crazy how much money you dump into computers and stuff too, just to make this happen.
I've been through, since I started YouTube, 2 years. I've been through 4 computers in 2 years because I got to the limitations of them. Like started with laptops, went through 2 laptops. Was it 2 laptops and then to a desktop, and then I'm on the 4th computer now, which is my beast. It's got a handle on top to carry it around. I don't know why you want to carry it around though, because it's
60 pounds.
It's huge. Well, it needs a handle because it's so heavy, but what are you gonna do? Game with that? Take it to your friend's house or something? It's a beast. It's huge.
I have a full tower. I have a full tower, and no joke, that beast weighs. So it's got to weigh at least 55 pounds.
Yeah, this is I think a Striker. It's the case says Striker on it.
Yeah, I think we got the same case, but yep, mine's white.
Gskill.com is who built the machine, I guess, but it was built as a video editing machine for a friend of mine who makes videos about sailboats, advertisements, commercials, like videos, online content for different sailboats. He'll film the inside of the boat, the outside of it, aerial shots with a GoPro. So he was upgrading, and he sold it to me for $1,000, which is pretty sweet. It's actually, it's a little older, but $1,000. I can live stream OBS and do everything and all this other stuff, and not without a flicker.
Oh yeah, that's like this. This I designed for gaming and to be able to game and stream at the same time. Now the technology when I built this. Probably 4 years ago, almost 5 now. Like, I future-proofed myself because I got the 8-core, 6-core Intel processor at the time because the 8s hadn't come out yet, right? I got a gaming motherboard. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the only thing this thing's lacking is the video card. It's a 760. I just got to up the video card, which I'll probably do on.
I've got 2 in here. I could literally do OBS. If I could designate it so that Streamlabs is using like either my onboard graphics or one graphic card, and then I could game with another graphics card. I guess I don't know how that works for sure, but
well, it all depends. Are they SLI or cross? I can't remember what they are. Crossfire, you know what I mean? Because you got to link the 2 cards in order to get them to communicate with each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know anything. I didn't put it together. I got lucky.
It's probably linked. If you took your case cover off, you'll look at the video cards, and there's probably a strap that goes in between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
It looks like literally like a strap. It might, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, right now the way I have it for sure is I let my computer handle certain things, and then the graphics card handles. Yeah, I try to balance it out so there isn't ever going to be really a problem, because like Streamlabs OBS isn't going to touch my computer's RAM or whatever. You know what I mean? It's all being kind of processed from my graphics card, I guess. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but
the graphics card does a lot of the processing in games. The graphics card helps with the computation of all that stuff. And so your processor doesn't have to do the work as much. It's the GPU, as they call it, graphics card. The GPU does your bulk of work on putting the picture on the screen, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like processing all that information. So
cool, dude.
But I'm going to pick up, I'm hoping next over the next 2 paychecks to pick up a 2060 GTX or RTX card. So,
Speaking of checks, that's the same thing. My boss just brought me a check. I gotta go to the bank before they close. So
all
I
right,
gotta
well,
run.
all right, well, thanks again, JH, Fish Tropic, Aquarium Cop, and Pong for coming in here. I appreciate it. Thanks again, everyone. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Yeah.